It's the fastest, most unpredictable speedway on earth. Fox Sports welcomes you to the GEICO 500. His name's not on the deed, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. owns this place. 6 victories at Talladega, including a record 4 in a row. He was known as the Pied Piper because everybody wanted to follow him in hopes of getting to victory lane. Now, he is still NBC Sports lead analyst, but he's on loan, and we're thrilled to have him. Welcome to the booth at Talladega. You've had quite a weekend roaming around here, but let's take a look at this car and what we know. And all we know is Daytona, where Chevy swept the first 4 spots in qualifying, led only 2 laps in the race. Toyota ran well, but a Ford was first on race day Thursday and Sunday. Here we come, and Toyota's at the top of the board in qualifying. The Fords are nowhere. The Chevys are in the middle. It's all topsy-turvy. What do you expect?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how this race plays out. The way cars qualify and the way they race is a little bit different. We saw that in the 500, like you mentioned. What have the Chevrolets done? What have they learned from the 500 to try to fix some of those issues of pushing and drafting and tandem drafting? What have the Fords done to try to remain strong? We saw the qualifying efforts of the Toyotas really, really fast. Does that mean that they're going to have fast race cars? We'll have to wait and see. They really did work well together in the Daytona 500, but they don't have the numbers. They got swept up in wrecks, and Ford took over.
Right, only 6 Toyotas. Now, back to Daytona. And the idea of give and take, as in the push. When is enough and when is too much has happened to rookie Harrison Burton. You got to be able to give a push. You got to be able to take a push. There's Ricky Stenhouse going for a wild ride. It was a wild race.
Yeah, the big concerns is how these cars match up, how the Chevrolets push, how they can be pushed, how the Toyotas match up. The Fords seem to be the ones that can push the best and take a push the best. We also saw some great pushing and tandem drafting from the Toyotas. The Chevrolets, not so much. I actually drove one in a test for Hendrick in January. Really, really uncomfortable being the guy pushing and being the guy getting pushed. What have they done to get that better?
Well, let's hope they've done enough. Let's go to our crew chief, Larry McReynolds, who had a great day yesterday, got back on the pit box, won the pole for the Xfinity race, and finished within a car length of the winner. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. It was such an honor to be there. Richard Childress racing the 3-car with Jeffrey Earnhardt. But even though this was an Xfinity Series race, I learned a lot yesterday. And I know today is 500 miles, 188 laps. But what my takeaway was, track position is absolutely king. That will pay dividends throughout this entire race. And that leads me to our Verizon race strategy. The elements are pretty much the stages, 60, 60, and 68. The fuel window is 38 to 42 laps. Now, my thought will be these teams will run each stage as long as they can on fuel. You have to pit as a group. Don't be surprised if someone tries to get off strategy and maybe the minute their window opens in a stage, they'll pit, Mike, especially in that final stage, trying to get that track position to the checkered flag.
Poor Larry spent 60 laps yesterday trying to get his car back up into a position to win. Here's the GEICO starting grid for today's race. Christopher Bell has his 3rd career pole, or 2nd pole of the season, and Martin Truex Jr., 2 Toyotas on the front row, one looking for his first win at Talladega.
Yeah, let's talk to Christopher if we can. Christopher Bell, Dale Jr. in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, we know you had a fast car in qualifying. That thing was bouncing around the racetrack, though. You still got some of that in there? You dial some of that out? What kind of race car you think you got?
Yeah, I have no clue. I hope it rides a little smoother than it did in qualifying, that's for sure. But, you know, at Daytona and Atlanta, the 2 Superspeedway samples that we've had so far, handling has been a non-factor for us. So, got all the faith in the world that this DeWalt number 20 Camry is going to drive really good, and we know it's got speed.
All right, you're at the kind of around the bubble or the cut line for the playoffs. How do you run this first 2 stages for points?
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting some stage points would be really big, but at Daytona, I didn't even make it to stage 1 before I crashed. So getting stage points is really important, but even more important is being there at the end.
All right, Christopher, thanks for talking to us today, and good luck in the race.
Thank you.
All right, let's double dip on the front row, Junior.
All right, Martin Truex Jr., Dale Jr. in the Fox booth. You got us, buddy?
Yeah, bud, I got you.
Man, you know, everybody's talking about it every time we come to these plate race tracks. You've never won here, but you did win both stages in the Daytona 500, man. That's got to make you feel a little bit better about your chances today.
Yeah, it really does. Our car was really fast back there at Daytona. And, you know, like you said, won the first two stages, then had some trouble to pits and got in the back and got wrecked. So, you know, hopefully today we can be fast enough to keep this fast pro Toyota up here in the front and just do all the little things right, make no mistakes, and keep that track position. And, of course, you always need a little bit of luck to not be around the crashes.
Well, you got your teammate on the front row with you, so tell us what the plan is when the green flag drops.
Plan is to try to get in line here, log some laps, and feel it out and see what we got. So no idea really, you know, if handling's going to come into play much today. We're not sure. So just feel all that out, take care of that stuff, and go race and hopefully be around again. I think is going to be the key.
All right, Martin, thanks for talking to us today. Good luck in the race, bud.
Thanks, pal.
Mid 80 degrees and a light cloud cover, and there is our trifecta on pit road. Let's begin with Jamie Little.
Yes, Mike, it is a beautiful day. And you know, the last time we raced here at Talladega, it was the 23 of Bubba Wallace who went to victory lane. It was the first time in his career. Well, his interim crew chief, Dave Rogers, told me he expects to run up front today. Why? Because his driver has a knack for this style of racing. He knows when to push, he knows when to wait it out, and he knows when to be patient. He finished second at the Daytona 500. He's hoping he's one spot better here today at Talladega. Vince Welch.
Well, Jamie, it's been a tough start to the season for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Just one top 20 finish. That places him deep in the points and makes it necessary, in all likelihood, to win a race if he's to make the playoffs. His team realizes that, and they circled today as the day they need to win. That's a lot of pressure coming into Talladega. But I talked to Stenhouse before he got in the car. He loves this style of racing. He's won here before. He embraces the challenge and the chaos. He starts mid-pack, but don't expect the 47 to stay there long. Regan Smith.
Vince, every time that we come to Talladega or Daytona and Speedway race, one of the guys you have to watch is Ryan Blaney. In fact, 2 of the last 5 Talladega races, he has been the winner. Daytona 500 earlier this year, finished 4th. A big part of that is communication with he and spotter Josh Williams. They've got it dialed in just right. They work as one team, as one unit. The other thing that they said they're looking for today on this car is the fact that it can take a push as good as any car in the field. They worked on that a little bit since Daytona. Feel like when it gets to the end of those races, this car can take a push better than anybody else to get them to the front.
And that could be key. Thanks, Regan. You know, the last time I saw Clint Boyer running this fast, he was chasing Jeff Gordon. Remember that?
He's trying to get up to this booth. Man, we're waiting on him. He's lost. Looks like he doesn't know where he's going. They changed the infield around a little bit.
Well, he had a little speed on the boulevard the other night, I'm told.
What is he doing?
Out
There he
for a
goes.
ride. No, that's the exit.
He's heading out the tunnel.
Well, I guess when we see him, we'll see him, you know. Let's hope it's soon. Here's today's GEICO race analysis for Talladega Superspeedway. 60, 60, and 68 laps are the stage lengths. They are pretty evenly split. 188 laps total. Lap 94 would be a complete race, but there's no rain in the forecast. 55 miles an hour down pit road, and the fuel window 38 to 42 laps. Daniel Hemrick makes his 4th start of the season here.
Appreciate you. Hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the sport. Matt, Chris, every time I was strapped in this cup car, say thank you. Just one more time. I never thought I'd never get a chance to do it again. So thank you guys. Love y'all. Thanks for letting me be the guy for you.
The Xfinity Series champion racing there and running a partial schedule here in the number 16. We're going to come green this time. And throughout all the pre-race and all the driver interviews, the most oft heard phrase has been track position, followed by take a push.
Yeah, track position is important. Even though you can't kind of move forward and back in the field quickly with the draft, track position takes all that work out of it. You don't have to work so hard if you can keep that track position and stay up front. You can do that on pit road. Seeing all the in-car cameras that we have here today, 10 in-car cameras. This new next-gen car provides us with a lot of opportunities to show you so many great shots. Chase Briscoe, who won a dirt race just across the street at the short track last night.
He rolls off 17th. As we work our way forward, Brad Keselowski.
He's going to be one of the guys fun to watch. Going to be racing hard, trying to win this race. Knows he has to.
And Austin Dillon, who was in the booth for yesterday's Xfinity race, won by Noah Gragson, who is in the field today. Joey Logano, the fastest qualified Ford, also with an onboard camera. As is Bubba Wallace, Kurt Busch, and Daniel Hemrick. Look at this crowd. Looks like Junior's racing here today as they come to the line for the first of 188 laps. Green flag.
See Christopher Bell on the outside. Looks like there were some team orders for him to take the lead, get down there in front of Martin Truex Jr. Now they can try to control the field here out front. Takes these cars a while to get up to speed as they're still going through the gears down the back straightaway. Going into 3, almost up the full song. Great sound. Daniel Suarez on the outside. They're getting a great push from Kurt Busch. Draws even with Christopher Bell coming off of turn 4. Organization on the bottom. Looks like that's going to push Christopher Bell back out front.
2 Toyotas working in tandem on point. Pole sitter Christopher Bell will lead the first lap from Daniel Suarez and Martin Truex. Little 3 wide mid-pack. The third lane begins to form. Ty Dillon in that 42 trying to bring Ryan Blaney in the 12 up to the outside. Landon Castle made a trip down pit road because of an inspection failure, so he'll be almost a lap down. They may catch him.
You see Kurt Busch get a little upset there from a push from William Byron. And back here 3 wide.
In the middle.
In the middle's right.
Oh, look at the 22.
Really close.
Just trying to fit it in there. Can't get it in the inside there of Jones.
Yes, that was as close as it gets right there. Jones shut the door on him.
He did not want to get hung out there, Clint, early.
Well, it's also a difficult situation for Logano because he can't just bail out of the gas and give him that hole. You got people behind him stacking up.
Yeah, you can lift off the throttle and still be getting pushed forward into that position.
He had to get down to that lane because the third lane did not form on the outside. Here's another look at it. On the right of your frame, the yellow car is Logano.
Look how close that is.
That's close enough it could spin that car out. Very, very close. Got him backed up a little bit, but you can tell, just like I said, all those cars stacked up behind him. Keselowski, Stenhouse, everybody else. He can't slow down.
You can hear the throttle.
Lift. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to. He knows that he came so close to turning Jones there. Very lucky.
3 laps complete this time by still double file, 20 rows deep.
And something we noticed in qualifying, the car on the outside leading, the Trackhouse entries have a little bit more skew than any of the rest of the field. That might make that car a little bit unstable getting physical, like contact pushes, tandem pushes. When I say skew, it means the rear of the car is kind of skewed to the left and it tracks crooked down the straightaway. So when you try to set up a push on a car like that, it can be difficult. Makes it fast in a straight line, though. You're trying to get that spoiler out of the air by skewing that back end over.
Chase Elliott up 7 positions since the start, and so is Ricky Stenhouse. They're the biggest movers in these first 4 laps.
This is so frustrating, Clint. If you're back in that 5th, 6th, 7th row, there's nothing you can do. There's no other way. There's no other line to get into. You really just kind of sit there, park throttle, waiting on something to happen in front of you, waiting for that line to move forward.
Yeah, but so many things you said right there are so important. Part throttle. Why you part throttle? Saving that fuel. Giving that crew chief an extra option, an extra wrench in the toolbox to use when it comes time to pitting and things like that. The other thing that I've already seen, you're gridlocked right now. Once these cars start breaking up, start wearing your tires, you're going to see who can push, blow through that bubble, and who can't.
A lot of chatter on the radios. Here's Joey Logano and team.
I haven't seen it work yet. 2 Chevys behind Brad's probably not the risk that we want to take right now.
Risk versus reward. You're going to hear that all day long.
That's interesting that he's asking the spotter whether he should run that top line. I never asked my spotter for information like that. I didn't want him telling me where to go, but it's pretty interesting. He trusts Coleman. Coleman knows what's happening beyond what Joey can see. And so Joey's telling him, hey, nobody's doing that. Don't go up there just yet, Joey.
No, patience. Patience is the name of the game. Ride a little bit. Let these tires wear out. Start separating the field. just a little bit.
Rough ride for Kevin Harvick, Regan. He's dropped 12 spots.
Mike, we wondered how these cars would drive here today at Talladega. The first driver to have major comments, Kevin Harvick. His car is bouncing very bad. Told the team we're in a little bit of trouble here. Had to get off the bottom. He was so worried it was going to bounce so much with the front end. It'd bounce up into the cars around him if he was on the bottom.
So that car is bouncing on the nose, and he's worried about it getting tight, bouncing, pogoing up the racetrack. We saw a lot of guys in qualifying, Clint, bouncing on the front of the cars. They find speed that way, but they got to dial some of that out for comfort.
For sure, and his concern is, in my opinion, very valid. If you're feeling that already, that bounce in that thing, that's exactly what's going to happen. As the tires start wearing, you get tight, that bounce is only going to amplify all those things.
And if Harvick drops a couple of more spots, his concern will become staying with the draft. Because at Daytona, we saw cars that were at the back of the draft lose touch with that pack pretty quickly.
Yeah, we were watching that all day long as these guys, once they do start to single file out and break up a little bit, seemed like you're right, Mike, those guys on the back dropping off.
You said single file out. When would that happen here?
Hopefully soon.
Soon as Dale Jr. leading the field decides to move up. That's exactly when it happened.
Vince.
Well, the spotters play such a key role here at Talladega. And Frank Kimmel, the spotter for Daniel Suarez, suggesting that Suarez try to come down to the 19 and side draft him and slow down that line and make Bell a little bit more of a sitting duck out there by himself. And then they might have a chance on that outside line to get the lead. So keep an eye and see if Suarez comes down and side draft the 19 of Truex.
Mid-pack, that third row started to form on the outside, and now it is indeed a lane.
And it started exactly with the conversation we were listening to, Logano.
Yeah, apparently he's found some guys up there to want to go up there and try this with him. Brad Keselowski, a teammate, longtime teammate of his, somebody he believes he can trust. We know Brad can push, and he can push aggressively. Look at the 18 car. He's going to get up there and try to block that run. Now he's going to be the leader of that three wide on the outside. Now we're four wide. Reddick dropping like a rock.
Out, Reddick. There's a quick hole, didn't take it.
Oh, that's so frustrating as a driver. Nobody behind you. You're looking in the mirror. Where's the help? Now we got a lap car throwing a wrench into the mix here. That's going to make things a little tight off the 4 or 2 here.
That is Landon Castle, who had to make that pass through down pit road as the pack just overwhelms him.
We were talking about patience. What was it, 2 laps ago? That's out the door. Big block by Suarez.
Suarez climbed the hill all the way to the wall to block that advancing high lane, and did it.
Sure did, and just in the nick of time. Very important. You didn't see that. That's exactly where Reddick went wrong. That run was coming. You got to be there for the block. Time is everything.
They got some great momentum here. What will the Toyotas up front do? They got to get up there and block that 99 car Suarez, or he'll be there outside soon.
Tyler Reddick went from 5th to 25th.
That's how quick things can happen. Again, that block, man, it's a split-second decision. You hear that spotter say it, you better react immediately.
A couple guys getting out of this draft. You see them right there. Denny Hamlin, a few other guys want no part of this right now this early in the race.
Denny Hamlin, and hey, his driver too, Bubba Wallace, going right with him. A lot of experience on those super speedways with Denny Hamlin. A lot of knowledge.
Tyler Reddick backing up as well. And you were worried about Kevin Harvick? He has climbed the ladder to 16th from back there about 35th.
I think that outside line is going to get some more momentum here through the tri-oval down the front straightaway. Kyle Busch out in front of that line on the outside, up beside his brother Kurt Busch. Daniel, though, controlling that bottom groove, controlling the line, controlling the race right now.
I don't think Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski want that 18 of Kyle Busch in front of them whatsoever. You know, after qualifying, Dale, we left that qualifying wondering, when are these Fords going to show up? Wasn't long.
Chevy 1-2, Toyota running 3rd through 6th, then a couple of Chevys, and Logano in 10th is the first Ford right now. 10 laps complete at the world's fastest speedway. Talks NASCAR is sponsored by GEICO. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. 13 laps complete. Daniel Suarez leading William Byron, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex, and Daniel Hemrick, the top 5. Now we noted Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch dropping to 35th and 36th.
That's going to cause a wreck. When I lift and I'm in the corner, the front end bottoms out and shoots me straight up the track. Yeah, I saw it take off to the wall there on you.
So what he's talking about is his car's traveling. When he lifts, it noses down. The front of the car travels, and it's bottoming out. Clint, that's got to be pretty scary as a driver that he can't get up in there and get in that mix, worrying about that car shooting up the racetrack.
Product of no practice is what that is. You know, no practice, showing up, qualifying, one lap, nobody around, wasn't running this speed. But absolutely, you get on the brakes and that thing gets on the nose, takes off like a ski is what it does.
So we thought they were going back there because they felt like it was a bit too busy up front, but it's really a balance issue. They'll have to work on that on the first pit stop.
Hamlin, a 5-time Superspeedway winner, including 2 victories here. Well, the front of the field is single file. Pretty orderly 2-lane procession right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Chevrolets up in the top 10, to be honest with you. We were worried about the Chevrolets after the Daytona 500, whether they could run in the front of the pack. But so far, this early in the race, they're still there.
Found each other. In my opinion, they've all found one another, working on those allies. That conversation we talked about in the pre-race, that's what I see going on right now.
Now Tyler Reddick, you saw him at 5th place, try to make a move and get squeezed right through the center lane back to 25th. Jamie.
And I listened to the radio after that happened, and his spotter, Derek Nealon, said, my bad, I was on channel 2, so I had a late call there. Tyler said, no problem, I'm having an issue with my mirror, and my car is just bouncing around so much. So right now, ride quality not good on the 8, and neither is his track position.
Another ride quality issue comment. That's something to keep an eye on. Hey, if they're having those issues when you're on fresh tires like this, wait till 20, 30 laps from now. They're going to have their hands full.
Chase Elliott in 12th place in that mostly Chevy procession. Regan?
Mike, Chase Elliott, a great start to the race, moving up from where he started in 24th position. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson told me before the race this was by design, them not qualifying as good as they wanted to today. They were focused on the race. They wanted to take a different approach to the Speedway racing to try and make him be able to be aggressive in the pack and later on in the event with that race car. So far, so good. Chase happy in the car, appears to be driving very well.
Got some teammates in that outside line working toward the front. GMS teammates Ty Gibbs, Eric Jones.
Ty Dillon.
Ty Dillon has had a great season, sitting in really good position, just several points out from the bubble. I don't think anybody expected that out of Ty coming back after being out of the series for few years. Look at the front of that car bouncing up the racetrack a little bit as he leads his second line. Moving forward, 2 Chevrolets able to push really well, able to make speed, something we didn't see in Daytona.
Ty's career best finish, 3rd, came here in 2020.
Yeah, I agree. If they don't get up to block him, the Suarez or William Byron, you might see OT Ty in the lead soon.
Vince?
Well, and to echo Junior's comments along with Clint, it has been a very good season. They were 10th at Bristol last week. They were 11th at Daytona. This is a team, especially on these super speedways, that feels like they can come up and contend. Right now, like others, not really happy with the ride quality, loose over the bumps, and need a little bit of grip on that nose. It's a little too much, too unstable for Ty Dillon's liking.
I saw the hood flap on the 43 car. Eric Jones, it's a lot larger, taller than on the previous race car. When that thing pops up in front of you, Clint, you can't see anything.
Yeah, a lot bigger, but honestly, it tells you, all you need to know about a diffuser. You saw that a little bit with the old car, just a little bit, but looking back at the Daytona 500, immediately is the first thing I noticed. All that air is driven and forced straight through onto that hood, creating that, vacuum right there, lifting those flaps.
But as a driver, it's really annoying, and it could destroy itself. Then you got more problems the team's got to worry about. I get pretty annoyed or pretty concerned when I see it. Watch this thing right there. Second car on the outside line. Look how tall that thing is, way up in front. It's like completely blocks the view of the driver just momentarily.
Dale, I'm going to argue with you, man. If that thing's doing that, that means my hot rod's fast and it's wanting to push through the other guy. I'm okay with it, boys. Just make sure this thing stays fast.
Daniel Suarez leading William Byron both in Chevrolets, then Christopher Bell and Martin Truex in Toyotas. 20 laps complete in Talladega. "23 green flag laps complete." Here's how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Daniel Suarez has led 15 of those laps. Austin Dillon in 11th, Joey Logano 16th, and Denny Hamlin with a rough riding car perched out back there with Chase Briscoe out in the back, Michael McDowell, Eric Almirola. Daniel Suarez led more laps today than his career here at Talladega prior to today.
Dale, one of the conversations we wanted answered was how these Chevrolets, and you're riding, you see the 9 car right there, would do. Heard a little bit different mentality. Didn't show up on qualifying day and just dominate the day with the fast speeds. We wondered if there was something to that. Were they working on how they were drafting, how they could do better themselves for race day? And man, top 13, there's only 3 other cars in it, and those are Toyotas.
What was wild is when we saw the 9 car qualify so poorly, some of his teammates qualifying the top 10, I immediately assumed something was wrong. They missed it. They were bottoming out, something about the balance of the car. But then maybe they were doing something intentionally to race better that's going to cause that car to qualify poorly.
Let's check with Larry Mack.
You know, guys, this is our first race at Talladega with the next-gen car. I know we raced in the Daytona 500, but I can never remember being 25 laps into the start of a race at Talladega and basically seeing no separation from first to 38. Less than 3 seconds between the driver leading the race, Suarez, and J.J. Yeley in the 55 back there in 38. About 2.5 seconds.
The fellow who has gained the most positions is Noah Gragson. He started out back and has gained 23 spots and has the fastest lap of the race. There is Gragson, 195.1 miles per hour. And that is our Xfinity fastest lap of the race so far.
We've seen that, car run fast here before with Brandon Gaughan driving it. They make a great speedway program, and he's coming off a win yesterday, bringing a ton of confidence into this morning.
And as we learned at Daytona, Beard Motorsports has just one full-time employee. And look at the ride they're getting today, Jamie.
And Noah Gragson, they were so excited, as Dale, you just mentioned, he won yesterday. Well, he may have celebrated a little bit. He went down Talladega Boulevard last night, and I saw him, and he said today's going to be a rough one, but we're excited about our opportunity because they're just here to win the race. That's all that matters. So right now, just quiet in that number 62.
Got to get you a different graphic for Noah, the mullet Noah and the non-mullet Noah. Here comes a 9 car on the outside. Chase Elliott trying to put something together.
Did you have anything to do with that, Dale? Did you tell him cut that off? Cut that noise off?
He just woke up one day and said he didn't want it no more. You know that how kids are. Chase leading that outside line, getting a push from Harvick. Harvick talking about the balance of his car. Seems like maybe that's improved as the air pressures come up, Clint.
It took the words right out of my mouth. That's where I was going to go with that. It certainly can, and I think that same thing can happen to the 11 of Denny Hamlin. You heard him talk about the very same thing. As those pressures come up, that should get better.
Now, they are the leading Fords, they being Harvick in 10th and Cole Custer right on his bumper, Stewart-Haas teammates.
Let's see if this tandem right here, the 4 and the 9, can make this outside work. GMS cars were out there earlier, couldn't do it. They're on the bottom groove now. Chase getting a pretty good push here upside the outside of the 5th place car. The 16 of Hemrick.
Two different things I saw there, Dale, that helped that, right? You got to get through that bubble. We talked about that. You hear that. But I think the 9 is backing up into the 4 and helping him.
And that 4 car is a Ford. We saw in Daytona how well those cars could push, not just make contact and physically push. A lot of people believe that the bubble, the ability to really get up behind the car and get to it, is easier for the Fords.
But he's got, in the 9 car, staying on that, the 9 has to drag his brake, has to do something to try to keep them connected, because the minute you do, it'll shoot you out and your success is gone.
Meanwhile, 2 Chevys lead this, Daniel Suarez and William Byron, the Atlanta winner. When we come back, the pit window will be open. Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, the pit window is open, and right away, the man who almost won Bristol, Tyler Reddick, is in, but
going under the hood here.
Yeah, we have a problem. You wouldn't do that by yourself for sure.
Putting around there in the left rear. Yeah, him coming to pit road's broken the field in half. We pan back here a little bit. You can see right at the top of the screen now it's broken in two.
He was running about 25th.
You see this back line that's broke up really bad. Those guys need to get connected, get single file, or they're going to be left out pretty fast.
Jamie, what's wrong with Reddick?
Well, Tyler Reddick just told his team it got off pitch. I can hear the engine get off pitch, and then it was just done. So he said, I'm blowing up, but no smoke. They're looking at it now, but his day may be over.
Sometimes that can be a plug wire come loose, not very often. You always tell yourself that, Dale. When you hear that thing drop a cylinder, you're like, oh, is it just a plug wire? Come in, check them plug wires. As soon as they diagnose that the plug wire is not it, 9 times out of 10, you've broke a valve spring.
So the first 30 laps of this race, the entire pack stayed together. Now they are broken up somewhat, but we will see manufacturers try to pit their cars together. Only 6 Toyotas, whole fleet of Fords and Chevrolets, the rest of the field, and they'll try to pit in groups so they have a draft to work with when they leave pit road.
You see some of those guys in the back coming to pit road now. The Fords, some of the Fords coming to pit road. Oh, the 51 spinning out.
This could be a caution. Needs to get it spun back around.
I think he'll get that fired. Plenty of time for the field to come around, and Cody Ware gets pointed the right way.
I saw Keselowski really had the front tires locked up, sliding on. I don't know if he was speeding, but definitely had the tires locked up.
Regan.
Mike, quick stop for Ryan Blaney. Car just a little bit too tight, otherwise fine with that race car.
Austin Cindric stopped with him, both of the RFK cars as well.
McDowell not able to come off pit road with the rest of the Fords. A slow stop for him.
Now, a lot of the other Fords were in the outside lane and could not stop that time. Oh, Brad Keselowski too fast entering pit road.
I told you I didn't like it. He had those front tires locked up and really pulled away, separated himself from the other cars.
Christopher Bell slid the fronts coming on the pit road as well. Jamie?
And Kurt Busch in the 45 in, as well as his teammate. Hasn't said much about the handling of this race car. They'll take right sides here, fill them up with just enough fuel to make it to the end. Vince?
No adjustments for the 19 of Truex either, just gas, Regan.
Christopher Bell, that car in the pack is pretty good when he's out front, bouncing just a little bit too much for him right now.
Levin had to back up. He slid through his box, Levin and Denny Hamlin.
Bit of a surprise that the 48 stopped with those Toyotas. Alex Bowman, well, friends are where you find them, I guess.
Got a lot more cars coming to pit road now. Look at all these Chevrolets. My goodness. Looks like everybody's getting there at good speed.
Learning from other people's mistakes, I'd say.
Regan.
Mike Daniel Hemrick having a good run right now in the number 16 car. Free on entry when the pack surges, his biggest complaint, and some temp issues possibly with that car.
William Byron pulls away. Daniel Suarez led this group onto pit road. Vince.
Right sides only and gas for Suarez. He said it's just a little bit too free when he's getting pushed. Otherwise, pretty good.
Ty Dillon narrowly avoiding contact with Ricky Stenhouse as they left their pit boxes.
Justin Haley's going to come off pit road a little bit behind that pack and lose the draft. A lot of cars taking fuel, a lot of cars taking 2 tires.
Now we're still under green with 5 cars not yet having come to pit road. Cole Custer, Joey Logano, Harrison Burton, Kyle Busch, and BJ McLeod, and here they come to pit road to finish the cycle. Jamie.
And now Joey Logano able to pull into his pit box. He's complained more about his car than I think any driver in my section, saying how loose he is. Almost trouble there. Ran over a hose, but all is good for the 22. They took right sides only.
Cole Custer waiting on gas after taking 2 tires, and so is Kyle Busch. They will all leave pit road together. Ross Chastain too fast exiting pit road, as Tyler Reddick's car has been pushed to the garage area.
Man, Jinx Team Dale had him on the set pre-race. felt good about his chances, felt good about his car. Fortunate day for them.
There's the front of the pack there coming by these cars that exited pit road. You see Joe Logano and Burton just down on the bottom of your screen trying to get up to speed, going through the gears. Larson in the pack is coming.
And coming fast.
And look at the differential in speed there. They're just not going to be able to hold them off.
And look at the difference, right? We talk about it time and time again. You see those 3 Hendrick cars, 1, 2, 3, leading this charge now. Found their allies, found the teammates.
So during this first round of pit stops, first Cody Ware spun getting onto pit road. Then Brad Keselowski locks them up coming onto pit road, trying to avoid a speeding penalty. He was unsuccessful at that. There goes Ware, pirouetting in front of a couple of cars. Denny Hamlin overshot his pit box. And then speeding penalties for Ross Chastain.
Ross still out on the racetrack, yet to serve his penalty.
So you think pitting under green is easy? Not so much from 190 miles an hour down to pit road speed.
The one car right there, I think he's 5th in line. So let's watch and see what he does here. Corner exit of turn 4 for pit road entry.
Needs to get that hand out the window. Tell those guys, warn those guys he'll be peeling off.
Now Keselowski has already come down pit road and served his penalty, but he is out there by himself without the draft, trying to hold on to the end of stage 1 to keep from going a lap down. 39 laps complete. Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott. Team Hendrick out in front. .42 green flag laps complete in Talladega. You still have a chance to win $25,000 of Clint's cash today. Play Fox Bet Super 6. Just scan the QR code on your screen and enter your 6 picks into the Stage 2 contest for your free chance to win. Where will the pole sitter finish? How many lead changes by the end of Stage 2? Fastest lap, most laps led, number of caution laps, and the best end of race finish by a winless Talladega driver.
You got to have all 6 of those,
I know.
Dale.
Does anybody ever win that? There's so many questions.
Yes.
Why so many questions, Clint?
They've given away over $100,000 of his money so far.
I'm going to have to start trying.
Yeah, and we upped the ante this weekend. You know, knew you were going to be in the booth, Dale. This is an opportunity for me with $25,000 to literally try to buy some of your fans away from you.
I've never seen somebody so happy
Free
to
to
give away their
play.
own money.
Team Hendrick, 1, 2, 3. Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott. Now, Denny Hamlin had a multitude of issues on that stop. He is now 32nd, Regan.
Mike, a number of issues on that stop, including sliding through the box. But a cool story down here on pit road for this team today. The front tire changer, normal front tire changer, Blake Houston, is out today. He's at home with his wife giving birth to a baby. They're having a child. With that opens opportunity. Jackson Gibbs, son of J.D. Gibbs, on pit road, making the tire changing for the number 11 car. First time over pit wall for him. The first stop ever in any series. He's been training since 2021 on the developmental crew. Getting ready for a big pressure moment. Come down pit road. Your driver slides through the box the first time, but a very cool story down here.
Very much so.
Riding on board here with Brad Keselowski. The next car to go a lap down. Troubles on pit road, speeding, serving the penalty. That's the pack coming up on him here.
Keselowski 36, last car on the lead lap, does not have the benefit of the draft.
See ya.
Look at this.
Outside.
Still,
One outside.
no, I'm not worried. I'm not panicking as a Keselowski fan right now. He's going to be able to get in that draft. There'll be another guy coming a lap down. All he has to do is get settled in somewhere where he can.
No,
and
he's
then go
fine.
up there and race to the guy that's going to be the next one a lap down.
He's fine because the next car one lap down, Cody Ware is about half a lap back, and Landon Castle even further back on the racetrack.
But to the point, when they catch them, he needs to be up to speed. Can't just lose the draft here. He'll be even further behind.
Right.
Yeah, this field's going to catch another couple cars here in a little bit. Chastain and McDowell running together just about 37 seconds behind the leaders. Soon enough, they'll be catching those guys and putting them a lap down.
Larry, how about our leaders?
Well, what I find interesting, the 3 Hendrick Chevrolet drivers at the front, Larson, Byron, and Elliott, they pitted with all those Chevrolet teams at lap 36, but then their teammate, Alex Bowman in the 48, it was duly noted he pitted a lap early with the Toyotas, but I think it's because they were double foul coming to those green flag pit stops, and he just felt like that was his best opportunity to make as much time as possible is to pit with the Toyotas.
So Bowman is now 15th. While his teammates are 1, 2, 3, with that pit stop strategy having much to do with it. Bubba Wallace has been leading that outside line for quite a while now since pit stops, not making a lot of gains on the drivers on the inside lane. Jamie.
William Byron right now content running second. You look back to Daytona, that's what all these teams looked at for what to expect with this car. Well, he barely made it to the end of stage 1. He got wrecked out. But they came back at Atlanta, that plate style racing, and they won it. The one thing that William took away from that race, this car handles better. You could push better. You could be more aggressive. And that set him at ease. And right now, he's happy with the car, no complaints.
And I think that's a focus. You know, again, going back to Saturday's qualifying, immediately when they didn't go straight to the top of the board, Dale and I were like, wait a minute here. Was this something, a focus factor? And I think talking to some of the guys over there, you know, they're said, yes, I'm tired of sitting on poles. We're here to win the race this weekend. Made some adjustments, and man, it sure seems like it's paying off.
I know, without any practice, only using sim, no on-track activity, you got to give it to these engineers and these teams to be able to develop and understand what to do to the cars. I'm just curious as to what did they do to basically flip this 180 degrees from Daytona and give these guys the comfort to push.
So far working well for Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Larson still looking for his first Super Speedway top 5 finish as we take you, Fox, side by side. Well, you just saw the most exciting game of thread the needle that we have seen at Talladega. About to go a lap down, Ross Chastain in the 1 and Michael McDowell in the 34 did not make it easy for the onrushing leaders.
McDowell, yeah, got both lines pushing each other as well.
Yeah, McDowell stayed on the bottom, and the 1 goes to the middle. Chastain, everybody's like, what are you doing, Chastain? Now this is difficult for everybody except for the high line. They've got a pretty much straight shot around that 1 car.
I was including so close to being in a wreck right there, and if it would have been on his hands, that would have looked pretty bad.
What it did for Chastain was put him in the free pass position, as this stage has just 8 laps to go.
It'll also get him a conversation from a few of these drivers after the race.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. Pretty early in the race for a bold move like that.
Well, what do they always say about lap cars? Hold your line. Had to find one first.
Well, what made that even more tough was one of them did. One of them stayed in the bottom, and then one of them went to the middle and basically put the front row 4 wide immediately.
But it has pulled this whole pack back together in one long freight train.
So as things get a little more intense, the pushing gets a little bit harder when we get toward the end of the stage. We're going to kind of see just how good these Chevys can push. And you can see right there how upset the cars are. Both Bubba Wallace and the 5 moving around a lot on the nose of the car behind them.
I was going to say, you can't just put it on Chevrolets. Those Toyotas on the outside. Christopher Bell pushing Bubba Wallace. That was very impressive. You saw Bubba get loose, getting into the corner. He elected to get off of him. Probably a good move, Dale.
24 cars in that lead draft. There is one lone car out in front of them, J.J. Yaley, who is on the lead lap.
Easy, boys. Easy.
They'll overhaul him before this stage is over.
It's getting intense. Coming to 5 to go.
That's Yaley, bottom of your screen, and here come the leaders.
It's a great shot to be able to see the cars moving around when they are getting a push right here. Head on down the back straightaway. Across the tunnel bump into turn 3.
I'm telling you, the fix has been made with those Hendrick cars. You see it time and time again. William Byron pushing Kyle Larson in that lead, right on his bumper, almost tandem drafting. Dale, I know you didn't like that much, but won me a couple races that way, huh?
Yeah, there's some guys that loved it.
Yaley stays up high and out of the way, does not impede the lead battle as Bubba Wallace is in front. Will he stay up with his Toyota teammates or drop to the bottom? No chance. He'll stay up top.
And the free pass driver still Ross Chastain back there in that outside line. Brad Keselowski.
Oh, he's going to have a battle with Brad Keselowski for the free pass spot.
And here comes Logano.
Brad's going to try to get in that outside line and push Logano by the 1. This is the battle for the free pass. Look at that 22 car. Oh, he's out of shape.
Almost got turned.
Remember, everybody that spun out in Daytona
was off the bumper of that 6.
What car was pushing them?
That's exactly right. Was off the front bumper of that 6. Very aggressive.
Joey's probably like, I don't want none of this. Get me out of here.
But something about that car and his ability. Now watch, he can push them all by themselves. These 2 cars got a lot of speed, a lot of momentum going into the corner. Hold on to it, Joey.
Only Brad, southern down right here.
Maybe spit him
Brad's gonna give him a break.
Brad's got to middle.
He's got to beat that 1 car.
Yeah.
Now he's going after the 1.
Because he has to. That's for the lucky dog spot.
Yeah, Joey probably waved to him and said, man, I'm not going to be a part of this. Too aggressive, too early. Let's watch Joey.
Let's watch his.
Oh, somebody loose on the bottom, spinning out. Up the racetrack, contact.
Hard into the 14 to Chase Briscoe.
Daniel Hemrick, Chase Briscoe, and it looked as if Hemrick got turned from contact.
Yeah.
Oh, Chase Briscoe won last night across the street in the United Sprint Car Series.
You're on fire, Chase. You're on fire. Just stop and get out.
Hard hit.
Chris Buescher.
That was
torn up.
That was a bam hit. See him getting out of the car. Contact with Hemrick, then the wall.
I'm glad you said that. I've never heard a bam hit, and that was definitely what that was. Still hooked up, Chase. Get out of that thing. So great to see him get out of this. You know, these new cars, the safety features behind him, that whatever is a bam hit or not, I'm talking huge hit for that 14 car.
AMR safety team quickly on the scene there. And Chase Briscoe's day is done. Let's go to our Goodyear aerial coverage and see if we can sort out the start of this.
Austin Dillon behind the 16 there. Down into turn 3, the 16 is going to get turned onto the apron. And with this rack pinion, oh, he lifts. Something was wrong.
I think something broke on that car. Flat tire, something. He definitely lifted right into the bumper of the 3 at Austin Dillon.
And you saw Chris Buescher get involved with heavy damage as well to the 17.
So watch this car slow down. Look, he's slowing down. He's lost power or something. All those guys behind him have nowhere to go. Now up the track, a quick, speedy rack and pinion steering. He gets behind on the steering.
Let's ride with a 16 here.
And let's listen, see if we hear anything go wrong.
Blowed up.
Blowed up.
Yeah.
Sure did. Right in front of them. Couldn't be any worse. Leaving them nowhere to go, getting into 3. Horrible timing on that, but you knew, you saw it, right, Dale? You called it.
Let's ride on this 14 car. Watch right side of your screen during this contact. Watch what the driver goes through at Talladega.
He's by 4 to his help. By 1 to the 34. Check up, check up, check up, check up. Stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up. We're wrecked.
Violent stuff inside the cockpit.
And that is the second ECR engine to have trouble today. Tyler Reddick first.
He went down into turn number 3 and he reported to the crew.
Here's your aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Anything can happen as long as you have the drive. Goodyear, more driven. Completing lap 60 here at Talladega. And we complete the stage under the caution, the top 10 receiving points. Bubba Wallace with his third stage win, all in the last 3 races here. Now watch Daniel Hemrick in the 16, and that's Austin Dillon right behind him. And you can see clearly Hemrick backs into Dillon, loses his forward motion. That was Stenhouse alongside, and then he collects Chase Briscoe and the 17. So let's ride and listen to Hemrick.
5.
Boom, man. You saw it.
Tight.
He got on that button. As soon as it did it, you heard it blow up. You saw his hand, his thumb get on that button. Way it went.
Nice shots from our majestic steel cam. And now we'll go to Austin Dillon, who was right behind him.
Ooh, so close.
So Austin Dillon, of course, he's wondering, 2 ECR engines has trouble. He asked Richard Childress, what's up?
What's the engine problems, if we have any news? Is there any way we can save it? No, I think it's time and chain. So, nothing you're going to do.
Timing belt, Austin, we've run them for thousands of miles, but it's like that's what happened. I know what happened to 8. I'm not sure about this one.
So at least one timing belt failure.
And they'll figure out as fast as they can what happened to the 16 if it's anything similar. And then that's when it gets to be a concern if you got 2 of the same issues. And Clint, you talked about it during the break. We're talking about a timing belt breaking, and me and you, we usually think that when we hear timing belt breaking, that's another issue that creates that problem, right?
9 times out of 10 in any experience I have, you have one of those break, it's because something came apart in the engine. Something quit turning and broke that belt.
Bubba Wallace leads them on to pit road at the end of stage 1. Jamie?
And William Byron in the 24, really happy with the balance. Said he's a little loose, but it's minimal. A 4-tire stop here. Bubba Wallace just got his first stage win of the year in his 3rd career here at Talladega. Says the car is good. It's just getting a little bit hot. 4 tires here, Vince.
19 of Martin Truex Jr., his crew chief James Small down off the box because they're short a crew member. The car, however, is excellent. Truex said no changes. Regan.
Kyle Larson in the 5 car, happy with that race car. Said the front end is positive, means that it's turning well. Ride quality is good, and you see the 20 of Christopher Bell sitting on pit road. That car was bouncing too much for him. Felt like he was going to crash, even though he finished 3rd in that stage. Big changes on this 20 car.
Trouble for Ryan Blaney. Top of the screen, you see a gas can out in pit road that I believe was his. We'll double check.
And Denny Hamlin and the 20 car, both with extended stays on pit road here.
That may have been a Kyle Busch gas can. They are pitted right behind the 12. We'll check, and they've been under the hood on Ricky Stenhouse. A long stop for Christopher Bell. Let's check on our stage winner.
Absolutely, let's do it. Hey, Bubba Wallace, it's Boyer, Dale Jr., Mike Joy up in the booth. You got us?
What up, now?
Well, you, man, listen to this. First, your last 3 super speedway races. Very good on these types of racetracks. A stage win, what do you got, and what do you have for the rest of the race?
Yeah, no, I really think our McDonald's Toyota Camry's solid. Guys at the shop did a really good job unloading, having the speed, being able to maneuver. Toyota teammates working really well together, showing our strengths there. But long way to go. It's hot and slick. You've done it before. You know how it is. A little sketchy when they're pushing you. Hanging on tight. Having fun, though.
We saw them big pushes, man. Keep doing it. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Bubba Wallace last year scored an emotional victory in the fall race here at Talladega. He has just won stage 1. USFL action continues with a Saturday doubleheader on Fox. At 4 Eastern, the Tampa Bay Bandits take on the Houston Gamblers. Then it's the Birmingham Stallions versus the New Orleans Breakers. So the attrition continues. There's the Ford Performance Cam having a look at the hood of Chase Briscoe as his car is removed on the hook and out of the race after that crash at lap 57. Daniel Hemrick also out of race after apparently the engine went on his car. ECR Engines has 10 of the 39 cars in this race, including that one and the 8 that you heard Richard Childress say was out due to timing belt failure. The battle for the free pass was won by Ross Chastain, so he is back on the lead lap. The loose fuel can was Kyle Busch's, so he gets a penalty for equipment leaving the box. And here we come to the GEICO restart zone for stage 2.
Hendrick cars up front. You have to imagine there's some orders here for one of them to control the front of this field. Looks like the 5 car is going to launch first.
Got that crowd, huge crowd, by the way, on their feet. You're right. Here he goes. Lining all 3 cars right back up.
Now, Eric Jones in the 43 is right up there because, according to Larry Mack, he was the only car in that lead pack that took just 2 tires on his pit stop.
He's the lone Chevrolet leading that outside line. Got a couple Toyotas behind him down the back straightaway. Everybody started building up that momentum. Going to see a good push from Bubba Wallace on the outside.
Look at this push on the inside. The 24 car William Byron is extremely strong. Got to have to be careful. Don't turn him around. Don't push getting into the corners. As soon as you saw him, as soon as they got settled, felt comfortable, went right back to the rear bumper of Kyle Larson.
Side by side across the finish line here. Eric Jones trying to get that lead with a little help from Bubba Wallace. Eric is clear now in the front. Does he pull down in front of the other Chevrolets? He does.
I would.
Oh, still clear low, still clear low.
Oh, back up to the block. I like it.
Yeah, buddy, control each line if you're out front. Kyle Larson doesn't mind that either. He's going to try to slingshot back past with a push from William Byron into the lead. A little bit of side draft here. This car doesn't side draft quite as strong as the car from last year.
Now, Junior, I noticed those Chevys detached as they got to turn 3 and then lined up again when they got back to the straightaways. The Chevys seem to be able to do that on the streets, not so much in the corners.
Well, I think they're doing that on purpose. I think he's getting it, the cars want to get light getting into the corner. And once they get settled, get a load on them, then that thing wants to gain some grip and you can get right back to the rear bumper.
Yeah, you can get into a guy in the corner. You don't want to push him real hard, but everybody prefers to be pushed in a straight line down the straightaway.
I don't mind you pushing me in the corner. Getting into the corner is a whole different story.
Not across those transitions, huh?
Remember how Alex Bowman got detached from his teammates during green flag pit stops?
5 was leading there and the 24 was pushing. How much was like the 5 lifting and backing up to the 24? There wasn't a lot of lifting. Okay, so the car behind was just naturally getting to him. 10-4.
That conversation he's talking about, just trying to forward think. Is he doing that on purpose? Is he backing up, keeping those cars attached, managing that gap? And it sounded like, from the correlation there, that with the communication rather was definitely not the case, holding it wide open.
Well, we've seen and talked a lot about hood flaps going up and down in the draft there. Vince.
Oh, careful.
Well, there's also been an issue, Mike, with a lot of the cars potentially overheating. NASCAR sent out a bulletin to all the teams early in the race that if they wanted to remove these louvers or fins, as they're called, from the hood of the race cars, it controls the airflow from underneath the hood out of the car. They could remove these, and that will relieve some of the temperature issues that a lot of these teams are facing. These are off the 47 car, but several teams have taken advantage of it.
I don't think you have to look any further than what, whoa, look at them way stacked up on the outside, but you don't have to look any further than what you're seeing with William Byron and Kyle Larson. Just their ability to be able to stay on the bumper locked together, that thing's going to run hotter.
Kyle Busch just drove up right up through the middle like there was nobody there, because there was nobody there. He had to restart out back because of that fuel can that got away. but he quickly gained positions right there.
And you can see when they all scatter like that, that's an opportunity for somebody to make moves, and that's exactly what you saw Kyle Busch do.
Restarted 25th. He is up to 15th.
Let's see what happened here. All these guys checking up. Man, the one car almost wrecking back there.
And that green car just drives right up through. It's like picking the just opened lane at the toll booth.
But it all started with Haley. Clear up at the beginning of that thing on the outside. They got together, had to get out of the fuel. Everybody stacked up accordingly, opened that window, and he was there to pounce on it.
Repeatedly, we see this 23 above Wallace push Eric Jones into the lead. Eric gets down in front of the Chevys, then back up in front of that second groove. And then Kyle Larson comes back by.
He's going to finally stay down there this time.
I don't know. Yeah, he's going to take this push he's getting from this 5 car and maintain that. I think that's the smart move right now, is to stay in front of those Chevys, work with these guys. These are the guys going to need at the end of this race.
Well, the other aspect of that is Bubba's already shown you twice he don't want to follow you. He's trying to get to your outside, trying to get to the inside. He's having to do way more blocking than he will be down there in front of those Chevrolets.
4 Chevys, 3 Toyotas, and Kevin Harvick's Ford in the top 8 at lap 69.
The Advance My Track Challenge is back. Visit AdvanceMyTrack.com. Vote for your favorite NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series track. Each vote enters you for a chance to win weekly prizes.
73 laps complete. Let's take a look at today's Ford Performance track facts. Ford has won 10 of the last 13 here. Brad and Joey 3 apiece. Ryan Blaney 2. Plus Ricky Stenhouse and Eric Almirola have taken the blue oval to victory lane. Look at Joey in 10th. And Brad Keselowski still 1 lap down there in 31st. Was not able to get the free pass on that caution.
We saw the Fords dominate Daytona 500. I think the Toyotas were great, but they crashed out. And where are the Fords today, Clint? No Fords up there toward the front. Right now as the Chevrolets and Toyotas control this race.
Well, it's very apparent that everybody's made a move to try to catch up to the Fords, you know, and what their dominance down there in Daytona. Toyotas and Chevrolet have definitely rise to the occasion.
Kevin Harvick's the leading Ford in this race in 7th. Joey Logano in 10th. Jamie.
I talked to Joey's crew chief this morning, Paul Wolf, and he said coming into this race, they really wanted to focus on ride quality and race. They didn't want to focus at all on qualifying. So that changed the way that they set the car up. They wanted it as low as possible, not rigid like we saw some of the cars in qualifying. And that could be hurting him right now. Joey is one of the most outspoken about the handling of his car, saying it's just too loose for him to be able to do much with it.
So Logano sits 10th. Third line trying to form up there. Ross Chastain with Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin back there. But on point, Eric Jones. And Jones, remember, took just 2 tires on the pit stop. That was a Dave Ellens call for 2 tires. Former champion crew chief for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and he's really brought some speed to this car. We've seen them have pretty good pace, places like Fontana and so forth. Really done a good job with this 43 crew getting everything they can out of this car for Eric.
And so is his spotter, Rick Corelli. You know, guy's been around a long time, had him up in some pretty close call blocks, if you will, on both sides of those lanes. Done a masterful job
You're
so
clear
far.
by 1 to the 23, quarter off you 5, here comes the 5.
There it is, and you hear that information coming at you all day long, Dale. So important to know where those runs are coming for, and more importantly, when. It's such a hard thing to judge, too. You know, you see a run coming, and then you have to have that knowledge, right? You need to know which run's coming first, but then you also need to have somebody to reassure you what line has been established and probably has more cars in it. Had him down in front of that big line of all 3 teammates in those Hendrick cars quite a bit.
Yeah, we used to use the word organized, and that means that they're very tight bumper to bumper. When they're organized and tight bumper to bumper, that means that a push or momentum is going to start to happen. The line that's got a bubble or half a car length between each car, they're not going to create a lot of speed and not going to create those runs that you might need to be concerned with.
34 cars in this lead draft at 194 miles per hour, Larry.
Yeah, Mike, Clint and Dale, they were talking about the rear diffuser earlier. And, of course, we've been watching these cow flaps kind of go up and down and up and down. So let's go to our Ford Performance cutaway car, and let's talk about the rear diffuser. It's all the way at the back, under the rear of the car. And you see it has those fins that go down. Now, this is kind of a first in NASCAR. It's very aero efficient. It creates more rear downforce with no drag penalty, but it definitely changes the wake of the car. So I think 2 things. Those cow flaps are very, very big, and the pressure when a car gets up behind another car, it totally changes. But I think that's another reason we're seeing those cow flaps do a jig and a dance when they're tucked up behind another car.
Well, the other caveat to that is this car literally eats that air as it comes over you. It goes into that radiator inlet, goes underneath the car and the splitter that's not flat anymore instead of over the car, creating that draft effect underneath of it for the car behind you. Not a lot of air going up and over the cars like they used to be.
NASCAR teams have been using ground effects for years, but with this new next-gen car is the first time that it's all pretty much approved and intentional.
And through the corner right there, we see Kurt Busch get close but not make contact. He could have pushed the 23 of Bubba Wallace, but he chose just to get right there to that back bumper, stay an inch or 2 away. Not able to give Bubba the push he needs to get up there and take the lead. Kurt not being super aggressive, pushing right now, the way maybe Bubba was with Eric Jones to get the 43 car the lead. Bubba's probably sitting there either asking him not to push, I'm not comfortable, or he's like, hey, why ain't he pushing me? Tell him to push me, let's go.
It's Greg Biffle down on the apron. This is what happened at the end of stage number 1. Bringing us to caution then, Eric Jones is your leader now.
Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever?
82 laps complete, and we are under caution. As we went to break, you saw Greg Biffle limping around. He did not make it back to pit road. That is another ECR-powered Chevrolet that's now coasting to the garage. Now, Brad Keselowski will get the free pass and get back on the lead lap with this caution flag. Larry?
Yeah, I'd say you'll see pit road very, very busy because this will get you to the end of the stage, but I try to be a quick learner. You mentioned it, Mike. Eric Jones, a 43 car, Dave Ellens, a crew chief, the only driver that changed 2 tires, and he's leading this race. I'm telling you, track position outweighs fresh tires.
I agree with that. You want to put your car up front. It makes it so much easier trying to control this race from the front. Seen some guys take some extended stays on pit road earlier trying to fix some issues. Denny Hamlin, a few other guys dealing with a pogo affecting the front of the car, bouncing, balance issues. Another chance for those guys to continue to improve their cars.
Pit road is open. This just the second caution flag of the day. And pit road is going to be very busy. Eric Jones leads them in. Jamie?
Yeah, it's been interesting listening to the chatter on the radios, the different strategies. Should we take tires? Should we just take fuel only? The 24, they had a code word. Looks like it's going to be fuel only, Vince.
Martin Truex Jr. got an unexpected break with Chris Buescher's crash. Now Truex has a clean exit on his pit stops. Regan?
Eric Jones happy with that race car, has tons of speed, feels like he can do whatever he wants to. The 5 car of Kyle Larson gets too loose when he tries to push the 43 car of Eric Jones, and the 9 car of Chase Elliott, happy with that car, it's fine.
Why, they were 3 wide for 3rd place exiting pit road, and it was the 300 cars altogether. There's a Ram race off pit road. William Byron, Martin Truex, and then that threesome led by Elliott and Larson.
Got a GEICO restart coming up next lap. All of these cars full of Sunoco fuel with 4 brand new oil. Some electing to take on some brand new Goodyears, not everybody. And it's rare at this point and at this racetrack to see a team actually change all 4 tires.
It really is, because Goodyear brings a phenomenal tire here. There's not so much load on the Goodyear Eagle tires in the corners here, so there's not a real need to change them. But Rusty, if you come to pit road and you flat spot a tire, that puts your team in a tough spot. You're going to have to make an adjustment in it. Only, but the driver flat spots the tires coming in. They got to solve some problems. You better know that, didn't you? That they got to flat spot his tire. Towards the end of pit road, like all of his leaders are. I mean, you're going to be on the wax real hard coming to pit road, and that's where you're probably going to flat spot it. In fact,
Lights out atop the safety car. We get ready for the restart. William Byron, Martin Truex Jr. up there on the front row. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. Good lot of pushing, not a lot of shoving, and everybody's been pretty orderly so far.
Yeah, the shoving's going to be in the final stage, right? That's going to get aggressive here late, and we'll see what these guys got for comfort back then.
Chevy, Ford, Toyota. Who's impressed you?
Well, obviously the Toyota camp, winning that first stage. She and Bubba Wallace up there, but I look at the Hendrick camp. I'm telling you, those 3 cars, the way William Byron can push that 5, the way they can stay together, I think that's a winning combination if somebody can't get in there and break it up.
Here they come to the Geico restart zone. 36, it'll be 35 to go in stage 2. And we're back to green.
How do you break that up? You break it up right there, exactly what we see.
Oh, the 5 has an opportunity.
He's there.
Finally.
I didn't think he was going to do it there.
Man, come on, we know what you want to do. So he gets down in there with his teammates. They're going to push by this 19 car very easily. Oh!
Caution.
78 car.
BJ McLeod.
Looks like he has a tire issue.
Wheel come off.
Oh, man.
That rear wheel.
McLeod was on the lead lap. Had just made a pit stop, and there's the result.
You guys saw that during the Daytona 500. Remember the wheels kept coming off these cars? And it's just after a pit stop. Pretty hefty penalty or fine.
Yeah.
One of those comes off.
There it is.
Yikes. Not hard contact with the.
Then it finally rolls off
with the wall there.
Larry, I guess this helps answer the question why a lot of teams took fuel only on that last stop.
Absolutely. The safest bet is don't mess with lug nuts. If you don't need tires, don't change them.
Oh, close call for Brad Keselowski, who had just gotten back on the lead lap. BJ McLeod's team had changed right side tires on that stop. The captain, Roger Penske, watching the race with Paul Zarnicki from the top of the grandstand. How about that? The campers outside the track and across the street have been here for nearly a week. Nice crowd on hand in the infield and in the grandstand to watch 500 miles of racing at Talladega. William Byron, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, the front three. Martin Truex, Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Bubba Wallace, the top 10. Now there's a lot going on here at Talladega. Friday night drivers and fans were out in force for the big one on the boulevard. Jamie Little made this year's one to remember at the Wendy's Biggie Bag float. Here's Wendy's pit stop.
I know it. You've been coming in clutch all day, but it's all about tonight. We're on the boulevard. You ready to go give away some biggie bags to the fans?
That's right. Let's hop on this Wendy's Biggie Bag float and let's go have some fun with the fans.
All right, let's go.
Do it.
Noah Gragson having some fun with his fans there. Friday night on the boulevard. If you don't know where the Talladega Boulevard is, we're not allowed to tell you.
No way. Get your butt to Talladega and find out. Nothing more fun. Let me tell you something. That Wendy's rig was hot, and I mean it. Flames blowing out the pipes. What a cool promotion they've done all weekend long, even down at Daytona. Hats off to Wendy's and their crew.
We can at least tell them it's inside the racetrack.
It's in the infield.
So they're not wandering all over the
property.
You will
need
it's
a
like
ticket.
600 acres now. We got to kind of narrow it down a little bit.
Well,
I think
true.
I've been on all 600 acres, literally over the years. 600.
Let's take a look at who's made it to Ruoff Mortgage Victory Lane so far this season. With repeat winner William Byron and Kyle Busch, the most recent winner at Bristol. This property was built to train fighter pilots for World War II, and then it sat vacant for a long, long time. 1968, Bill France and Governor George Wallace got together and decided this would be a great place for France's big super speedway, bigger, higher banked, faster than Daytona, midway almost between Atlanta and Birmingham. And they ran the first race here in 1969.
The local government sold them the track for $1 if they would build a new runway, which is the airport here off to the side of the racetrack that you see. The boulevard is the old runway.
Right.
Part of the old.
Yes!
Yep.
Dale Jr. coming
the new
in.
one.
Flexing on my man Mike Joy.
You'll see the old one.
I knew he knew all that. I was just helping him.
In 1969, Charlie Glotzback won the pole for the first race here at 195.5 miles per hour. 11 miles an hour faster than Buddy Baker was at Daytona, and 30 miles an hour faster than A.J. Foyt's pole at Indy. And France knew he had built his cathedral of speed.
Well, folks, I have nothing to add to this historical endeavor that we've been on, but I do know that we're coming back to green, boys.
You're making history, boy. You're not reciting it, right?
I try to every minute of every day. See the inside line backing up. See a team play. Here he comes.
Oh, the 22 in the wall. Back down in front of the field.
Oh, he takes out Ty Dillon and Daytona 500 winner Austin Cindric. A lot of cars with damage.
Keselowski's navigate.
Unbelievable. Just a bad push on that restart. Turns Joey into the wall, and he has no control. Coming back down in front of a field, bearing down into turn one.
Todd Gilliland.
Man.
Cole Custer's whole front end smashed up. Ty Dillon got hit pretty hard.
Ty had a great run going today. Daniel Suarez with right side damage. We'll get a list together for you, and it will be a big one. Not the big one. Look at the yellow car outside, fourth car back.
And he's getting a push here from Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, but it all stacks up as he was 24 car was making his move down.
All those cars, the 43 is in the back of the 22. It's too many cars really kind of bumper to bumper at one time, and he kind of got spit right out of that line of cars.
And then when he bounced off the wall,
from our Goodyear aerial coverage,
came right back to them. I hate to say it, but it all happened, in my opinion, because of the move of having that Hendrick car waiting, trying to get down in front of them. They really stacked up behind him.
And Brad Keselowski makes it through, slows down. A couple other cars able to really kind of avoid all this.
But I also think the 19 of Martin Truex knew that he was going to do that, was backing up to get a big run.
Let's ride on board with Bubba.
Yeah, watch visor cam and watch his hands on the wheel prior to and at the moment of contact. Well, let's ride along with Joey Logano.
Watch the contact with the 43. He's pushing. He's pushing that 43 car, and then Bubba makes contact, and it just spits him out, turns him right. Bubba doesn't know or isn't getting the information that he's already into the back of the car in front of him, that Joey is already pushing the car in front of him. We know that that's never anything the driver wants to do, is intentionally lock into two cars that are pushing.
In my opinion, I said that it was a 24 William Byron coming down, but the 19, I think, had them backed up because he knew the 24 was going to come down, and if he had them all stacked up connected, he could blow by them and into the lead.
Now look on the bottom right of your screen. Brad Keselowski, who had just gotten back on the lead lap, scoots through. Let's ride along.
He's going to see this accident.
77, you'll be clear. Come on, low. Go low. Check it up. Don't get spun. Just one outside. All right, stop. Go way low. Keep coming by him if you can. To go through the grass. Just hold it straight there. You're going to be all right.
And if we could see his feet, he's doing a dance on them pedals, trying to slow the car down without locking up the tires. So easy to lock the tires up as you transition on the apron across that part of the racetrack, and he's trying to slow down, not get run over.
Man, did you see how violent it was when he came off the banking? But I love that communication. Walked him through every process, including, hey, all right, we're past the wreck, but don't get run over. Go ahead and speed up a little bit.
Here's what Bubba Wallace had to say.
Barely touched him.
You'll have it. Come on, that bud.
Yeah, I mean, Bubba goes up there to push him, but he's not. I mean, you want to get information that, hey, the car in front of you is into the 43 car. The 43 car is into the 19 car. Then you know how I'm not going to push them. That's going to turn somebody. And I don't know that Bubba was getting that information, or really that information was even expected to come to him during a restart. Typically, we don't see those cars all in a chain like that, pushing so hard for so many rows going into turn one on a restart.
3 of the 4 Penske cars, including the Wood brothers, number 21, taken out in that wreck,
and this is
or at least with damage.
Similar to the Daytona 500 with the Toyotas. They're losing numbers in situations like this. The Ford Camp's losing numbers. The car's getting crashed out.
On the front. Still on. Hold it up there.
So 2 things I see here. Just immediately prior to contact, Bubba Wallace makes a slight left turn of the wheel just prior to contact. And right at the moment of contact, you see Joey making that same move in order to keep the car pointed straight when he's getting turned a little to the side, and then it's on.
The 43 in front of them actually moved up at least a little bit to get to the bumper of the 19. And when that movement happened, you're right, he made that correction, trying to get back in line. The push came from the bumper as he's making that transition and got him turned around.
Ricky Stenhouse with a lot of damage. You saw the list of cars involved. Looks like Landon Castle will get the free pass. So Freddie Kraft is Bubba's spotter. And we'll watch and listen.
Green. Half out the front, one out the back. Tight out the front, now tight. Now they're all tight. Everything hooked up our line. 24 is going to go down. Keep shooting. Easy, down. Keep coming down. You're all good. Wrecking behind you, Big Red.
And you hear him telling Bubba, tight in front of you. That means they're all bumper to bumper. So he's getting that information that he needs to know as far as the contact with the cars in front and how they're tandemed.
So the attrition list grows for this pileup that starts with Joey Logano getting turned into the outside wall.
That last.
Welcome back to the GEICO 500 on Fox. Ty Dillon among those taken out of the race in the most recent crash at lap 90 that involved 8 cars. Watch the outside lane here. Watch Martin Truex, who is second in the outside lane.
So the Hendrick car's got orders. The 24 is going to go, and he's going to pull down in front of the 9. Truex will be the lead car in this second group. So he's trying to get these guys organized. The bumper-to-bumper contact creates this accident. So let's get some brake and throttle. Pay most attention to the brakes on the 19 car. Shouldn't really be mashing the brakes once we go green. So we're under green flag. He's hitting the brakes a little bit there.
Yep.
Yeah, he's on the brake, just pumping the brake pedal just somewhat to back himself up to the 43 here.
And you want that because you want that inertia out here. As soon as he makes that move down the 24 car, you want those guys stacked up behind you so you can go by that third 3-car pack of the Hendrick deal. But I'm telling you, he backed those guys up on purpose, which in my opinion ain't a bad move.
Well, let's hear from Joey Logano. Jamie?
Well, another big hit for Joey Logano. I was going to ask you if that was just a push gone bad, but we just saw the replay. What's your take there?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, from what I see there, it looks like Truex is just trying to get everyone connected, which, I mean, it's part of it. Maybe over-connected a little bit, got all four of us stacked on top of each other, and at that point, you're getting pushed from behind, you're pushing the car in front, there's nothing you can do, and I was the one that got shuffled out. So, stinks. It's Talladega. I don't know. Some people love it. I can't say I do, but it seems like it just happens a lot for us on these tracks. We run up front and something happens, but we'll move on to the next weekend with our Shell Pencil Mustang and move on. But it stinks. We didn't get any stage points, and then we're going to finish towards the back. So pretty big hit today.
First DNF for Joey Logano, Mike.
Third in the last 4 appearances at Talladega for Joey. An early exit after this pileup. Coming up Saturday, a huge doubleheader on FS1. 4 o'clock Eastern, Ohtani leads the Angels against the White Sox. Then Bryce Harper and the Phils battle the Mets Saturday on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Nice sun-drenched crowd here at Talladega with 25 cars on the lead lap.
Huge crowd, huge weekend, fun weekend. All these people have been having a ton of fun. Not this guy.
Not this guy.
That's 100%. Had his hands full. Right front suspensions broke. Hold on to it.
The toe link. One word I think I'm going to be tired of hearing about is the toe link is bent or broken.
Well, that one was definitely the problem. Man, headed to Tootsie's early. Might join him.
Ooh, Ricky Stenhouse with a little more trouble here.
Watch a replay to see another car that got through this crash pretty well. The 18 car, Kyle Busch. Right up in the middle of this as these cars all start making contact, and watch Kyle right there on the right side of the screen.
He's about to wreck, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the wreck. He's in it. And watch these moves.
Parts. So close.
Well, 47.
About 4 different times he was in a wreck and never hit anything.
And that's such a great feeling too, man. When you go through something like that and you come out to the end, you're like, you want a pat on the back. You're like, hey boys, what'd you think about that?
But it's because it's just so easily you could have been on the opposite end of that, and Ben Logano had given that bummer interview. It's that close in all of those wrecks.
He picked up that golden horseshoe with 1 lap to go in Bristol, and he's still wearing it somehow, somewhere. Let's go back down to the infield and Jamie Little.
Well, Ty Dillon had a good race going. Talked about you guys earlier, and there we saw it on the replay. You were just an innocent bystander. What'd you feel there?
Yeah, that was tough. I felt like I shifted to 5th gear to get in high gear, and then all of a sudden I saw 22, and there was nowhere I could go. I'm just a bystander of aggression, and just as soon as stage 2 started, I could feel the energy just wasn't the same. It had ramped up for whatever reason. We had way too many laps to go. I don't think people really get it. Every year we come back, you got to finish the race to have a chance. So we're bump drafting, doing silly things with way too many laps to go. And I'm bummed for our guys at Black Rifle and our guys at Petty GMS. We had a fast Camaro and couldn't keep it outside the top 15, and just kind of doing my thing that I've been successful doing here at these speedways, and just trying to be smart, stay out of trouble, and manage the race. It's a chess match, and you got to use your brain a little bit in these races to have a shot. And some people don't ever realize that every time we come back.
Thanks, Ty.
He had a good car and a good chance here. Let's have a look at today's Toyota top performers. Martin Truex Jr. the leader. Kurt Busch in 7th. Bubba Wallace in 8th. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch all in order. 25 cars on the lead lap.
They did a good job getting this racetrack back ready to go green, and pace cars on the pit road.
So in the garage as a result, Dylan Logano and Harrison Burton, other cars under repair, Suarez behind the wall. Back to green.
Definitely don't have that issue now. All 3 cars are lined up on the inside. Daniel Truex, man, seeing him out there, 68 wins, or 68 times he's been on super speedways without a win. I think today just might be the day, Dale. At this point up here, I'm almost scared to even mention people's names, because every time I do, it's like the next lap they have trouble. Such a different perspective when you're up here in the booth after racing with all these guys for so many years. Make those comments, you're like, dang it, sorry, man.
Now we're riding with Kurt Busch, the Monster Energy Cam, 4th on the inside. Right behind him, Alex Bowman in the 48 has almost caught up to his Hendrick teammates at the front.
And that's all he's trying to do, is get with his Hendrick teammates. So Kurt Busch is sitting there going, well, I can't move. I can't go anywhere. They're dying to get me out of this little group here. Let's listen.
Pushing and the shoving and the bump drafting on the straightaway is slightly more stable than years past right now. That also coincides with how aggressive everybody wants to push at the same time. But right now it's favorable.
That's good intel. The one thing that I do see, and what I thought I was going to hear there, is maybe that spotter saying, hey, you got a teammate there, you're the meat in the sandwich. They just want you out of there so they can link all 4 of these Hendrick cars up.
Martin Truex trying to pull that outside lane to the front, Vince.
He is indeed, and he's really liked his race car today. Said it's been very stable, especially obviously when it's out front and he doesn't have to deal with that dirty air. Clint mentioned his 0 for 68 on super speedways. They've taken a little different approach. Martin used to like to ride around at the back to try to avoid the big one, but still always seemed to get collected in the big one anyway. So they are racing. They figure they may as well go to the front and take their chances. And so far, so good for Martin Truex Jr. And boy, what a big day it would be if he does end that streak.
Somebody blowing up down the infield backstretch apron. That was Cole Custer.
Had that damage on the nose grill.
Yep.
I don't know if it caused that or not, but definitely had a whole nose caved in.
But good that he was down off the racetrack and on the apron. So I've noticed something. Jimmy Hicks, our stat man, noticed 3 of the top 4 drivers in this race have won an Xfinity Series championship driving for Dale Jr.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. Hey, you do it long enough.
Well, you do it well enough.
You can have some good things happen.
Well, hey, and it takes teamwork and an army of people behind you. And I'm telling you, this Hendrick camp, having a conscious effort coming into this, not wanting to be satisfied with just sitting on the pole of one of these super speedway races. Let's change our approach. Let's make sure that these guys can draft and race well enough to win these races on Sunday. And man, I'm telling you, the proof's in the pudding. Great job so far.
.20 to go in stage 2. And here's our eBay Motors look at pit performance. And most of the drivers that have spent the least amount of time on pit road that are in that top 10 are in our top 10 running order right now.
Looks like these guys are just trying to log some laps. We heard the drivers commenting about how the intensity had picked up. You have a crash like that, that kind of seems to reset everybody. Everybody goes, oh, we better calm down. We got a long way to go. Yeah,
sure does.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Right. Then they start to forget about that, and they get intense again. I think that'll start happening. We got 19 to go, coming to 18 to go on the stage. Maybe with about 10 to go, 8 to go, 6 to go. Going after those stage points, intensity ramps back up.
Well, it's just all the opportunities, all the changing. You know, you hear people talk about chess match. It really is. You know, those opportunities don't always come every lap, but when they do, you know, you got to be there to take advantage of that opportunity. And what that is, a guy slips up, a bad block, stacks everybody up, just like we saw with Kyle Busch. Take that opportunity, get yourself in the top 10. But once you get there, now you're forced to make these blocks, do some things out of desperation to kind of keep yourself there. So many different things going on out there in this racetrack.
So watching Kurt Busch in that inside line, I don't know if I should be surprised or not that he's not pulled up in front of the 19. As these Chevrolets control the front of this race, the other manufacturers have to find a way to get together to be able to take this race away from them.
How about a Fox NASCAR Sunday afternoon, lap 104, crank it up.
Half in front of the 23, about half out back. Half, they're pushing tight up top. Still one out front. Still out there. Tight, Blaney still half. Tighter with you, but not connected. You're clear. 3/4 out front. Half. Still quarter.
Car in the wall, Cody Ware. That'll put us under caution at lap 106.
Left rear tire's down. I don't know if it was from sliding.
I'm looking at the car right now, Cody. If you keep coming, it doesn't look too bad. We can get some tires on it. Yeah, I'm stuck.
Looks like he's high-sided it. And let's have a look, see what happened here to the 51.
Come through the tri-oval toward the flag stand. He's got his teammate behind him.
Turned him.
Just a push there, running in the back of the pack, you know. I don't know.
Kind of.
Maybe the tire could have been flat, though.
Yeah, but the way he hit him, whether it was a tire, whether
right.
it moved, and that guy was on his right rear corner, and as soon as it touched, it spun him out. left rear tire is definitely down, but he slid quite a ways.
He did.
So if that was the 15, David Reagan. Reagan on the lead lap. Trying to give a little boost there, move both those cars forward. And Cody's stuck. So Larry, 14 laps to go in stage 2. What do you do?
Well, I see an interesting dynamic here, Mike, because from right here, you could make it to the end of the race on one stop. Now, we know you have to make a green flag stop together, but if you're back there in all those Fords back there in the back part of the lead lap cars, maybe you come as a group here, and then you stay out at the end of stage 2, and you basically run until your window opens to get to the end of the race. I think they're going to have to do something to get off sequence with those Chevrolets.
So here's one of the questions in Clint's Stage 2 contest on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Free to play. How many laps under caution by the end of Stage 2? Well,
some of these questions are extremely hard.
So weird, yeah.
But I'm telling you, every week, Dale.
Your question.
Hey,
Dale.
Yeah, that looks like me in there.
That looks like a young you. Yes, it does.
What is going on right now?
What is
What is going on?
Well, arrow window.
Now wait a minute. We've seen Davey Allison's Thunderbird with Clint at the wheel. Looks like there's a challenger.
It's a good-looking car.
But did you decline that opportunity?
Look at that.
See, I jumped all over Davies. You could have been out there with me. There it is.
Look at that. Monte
Driving
Carlo
off in the
Aero
sunset.
Coupe with that slope back glass. That's cool.
Windshield wiper. Thing's street legal or what?
I didn't see a license plate on the back, but then again, he's got passengers.
He does. Only in Talladega. Looks like Chad McCumbee hanging out in there.
All right, pit road is open. And not a lot of takers in the front half of the field. Plenty further back. Jamie.
And Bubba Wallace, one of those takers in the 23. Just left side tires is the call, and enough fuel, not waiting on fuel. And the 43's in, Regan.
Eric Jones continues to be very happy with the 43. Likes the speed, likes everything that race car is doing. 2 tires and a quick stop for them.
Micah McDowell will get the free pass under this caution. Brad Keselowski pulls out. You were watching Kevin Harvick stop there on the right side of the screen. 81 laps to go, 13 laps to go in stage 2 at the fastest speedway on earth.
Grab an ice cold Coke and buckle up. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
No major complaints, did take 2 right side tires. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace
Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Verizon Frontline. Built for 5G, built to make a real difference on the front lines. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR.
12 to go in stage 2. Bubba Wallace came back in for a loose left front wheel. A long stop for Ryan Blaney. Earlier crash damage to his splitter they were taping up. And Christopher Bell gets a penalty for too fast entering his pit. Brad Keselowski is back on the lead lap, so let's take a closer look at the number 6 Castrol carbon neutral Ford.
For the second consecutive year, RFK Racing has teamed up with Castrol to run this carbon neutral inspired all-white paint scheme by using re-refined oil in the car. Castrol and RFK are helping point the way to a more sustainable future for racing.
Keselowski will line up 15th on this restart. Take you back to that first race here in 1969 where Charlie Glotzback won the pole, but his name's not in the record book.
How come?
There were a group of drivers called the Professional Drivers Association led by Richard Petty, and they had a concern about safety racing on this track at those speeds, and they were blowing out tires in practice. Firestone withdrew, and the PDA, including Glotzback, walked out. So Bobby Isaac started the race on the pole. Goodyear brought a harder tire for Sunday. The race was run without incident, and Clint has a nugget.
Listen, I don't get these very often, Dale, and that's where Richard Childress Racing was born, folks. 1969, because of that very moment. Those boys didn't want to be in it. He said, I'll get in there. Put him in, coach.
To fill the field, France allowed ARCA and Grand American pony cars like Childress's Camaro to run in the first Talladega 500.
Terrible, ugly car. I'm going to brag on him a lot, but, man, it was a green Camaro. Made it happen.
Hey, Fox Nation's been here all weekend, and Landon Castle, with a free pass, is back on the lead lap.
Had a lot of fun with Fox and Friends this morning. A little early for me for Talladega, but nonetheless had a lot of fun. Marching band out there, got to play the cymbals. Dale, you ever tried that out?
I haven't. Landon's done a good job today. He had to come down pit road when the race started because he failed so many inspections this morning or yesterday, and so now back on the lead lap and get back out there and start racing a little bit.
Starting to see some damage on some of these cars. The 2 car of Cindric, I still think he's okay. Some of them back markers can always play a role in this thing if they're pushing.
All right, we'll restart with 10 laps to go in stage 2.
Get them back on their feet, Dale. It's go time.
You got all the Nature's Best boys up front controlling this race. Somebody needs to get their act together, or the HMS guy is going to just continue this throughout.
If William Byron can cross over to the bottom, they'll be lined up 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside, and that's where they are. So at Daytona, they qualified 1, 2, 3, 4, and here at Talladega, they're racing 1 through 4.
But now we got 3 Toyotas in that outside line. Kurt Busch leads the 19 of Truex. Looks like Denny Hamlin's up there. See what they can do. They can push really good at Daytona, working their way to the front. Getting really aggressive. You see them moving around in that outside line.
And I love
that's the 3 of Austin Dillon. My bad. I thought that was Truex.
Looking back from Kurt Busch.
So Kurt now trying to get a push from this 3 car, another Chevrolet. We haven't seen that outside line really get up there and take over from these Chevrolets in a while. It was happening earlier in stage 1, but now that there's a lot of organization in that inside line, a lot of devotion to each other, this outside line has not been able to do anything.
And this is the most dramatic we have seen the inside line pull away on a restart today.
Yeah, with the accidents and everything, it's kind of we got a small field out there, not a lot of cars to be able to create a lot of energy. And if all of them are going to get in this bottom line, you just don't have enough numbers in the outside line to be able to get that run.
Strength in numbers. You couldn't have said it any better. It's just simply more cars in that inside line. I think it's probably going to maybe get single file here, but maybe it's going to take somebody pulling out, and it'll happen here with 9 to go in this stage.
Now remember, Wallace working his way up from the back after making a second pit stop under this caution.
I'm telling you, what I see out of those Hendrick cars and their ability to push was exactly the way the Ford camp could do in Daytona 500 winning that race. You're going to have to be able to push those guys. Stability is everything. If you get to their rear bumper and you can push hard on it and they don't get out of control, there is no better feeling. Deadly combination.
A little bit of a breakaway here up front. Some separation that we haven't seen all race long. The top 5 stringing these guys along here.
Looking ahead to Dover next week, where Hendrick Motorsports had a 1-4 sweep led by Alex Bowman.
Everybody's bailing on that outside line now. Everybody's single file. And I think you're right, Clint. They'll do this until probably 3 to go, 2 to go. Somebody will jump out there and say, let's go.
Green is an amazing thing.
It will be one of these guys that's not in the top 10. Those guys in the top 10, they're fine. Riding this out, get the stage points.
The hardest part about that is the fact that there's 4, not just 2, not 3, 4 teammates in a line on that bottom. It's going to take a heck of a line to go around those cars.
Denny Hamlin went from 4th to the tail end of this group, trying to make something happen on the outside.
And we got separation happening here now with Austin Dillon right there. Denny at the very, very back here. They got to be careful. They won't have much opportunity at all to try to get stage points if there's too much separation. And the running side by slide, that's going to slow them down as they're side drafting off of each other.
Makes it any harder when that front line is all single file like that. You cannot be door to door. Get yourself situated, get in line, get a pull off of that line in front of you as you approach them. That's when you can pounce and fan out and make your moves.
Well, and they have lost the lead draft. Look at that separation.
That's what I'm talking about. They need to get together. Those 2 cars are together. Get that 3 involved, the 7.
So Bubba Wallace now pushing Brad Keselowski, and I think they'll close in rather quickly.
But they broke apart, Dale, and now you're starting to see that whole thing. Those spotters and crew chiefs, everybody involved, they see that. They're telling those drivers, don't lose this draft. Hold on. Not really worried about going a lap down. Not enough time for anything like that. But if you're going to get any stage points and be a part of that picture here in 5 laps, that's what it's going to take.
Sixth place, Ross Chastain. Vince?
You guys talking about drivers getting greedy, wanting those stage points at the end, and Chastain just asked, who is behind me? Which OEMs, which manufacturers are behind me, in case Chastain wants to jump out and try to get a little help to go to the finish of this stage and maybe gain a little extra stage points instead of the position he's in. Keep an eye on that.
Allies. Nobody, you see the proofs that are putting with those 4 cars, the 4 Hendrick cars all together. It's going to take somebody that you know on your rear bumper to go with you. When you pull out and make that move, is that a Chevrolet? Is that a Ford? Is it somebody within my ally camp?
Brad Keselowski and that group's almost closed the gap between them and the leaders.
There used to be a daily game show hosted by Johnny Carson called Who Do You Trust? And that's what they're playing right now out here.
Well, right here, right now, you can trust a lot of people. Gets down to the end of this race, trust factor goes out the window. But these guys are working together. You need them early in the race.
Well, if you want stage points, you're going to have to pass Kevin Harvick in the 4.
Harvick to the outside of this 2 car. The 2 car has that front end damage, and I think that they're noticing he is having a hard time running in this pack. He's starting to lose a little bit of the connection he had to Eric Jones, and now they go to the outside to go around him.
That was a good move. Too much drag on that 2 car. Let's get around him, and they're catching Eric Jones, just like you said, rapidly. Going to see another move. Here comes the momentum.
Eric tried to block it. But might have slowed down a little bit of that momentum they had with that block.
Big push.
That was almost choreographed. Kyle Busch pulled out at the exact same moment as Kevin Harvick.
Almirola tried to pull up in front of his teammate, missed the block. Massive pushes from the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Oh,
there's another one.
Does he go to the inside? Nope. Chastain jumps up there. He's going to get a push. Yeah, to the inside he goes.
Pretty bold blocks in front of that 4-car Harvick.
And they're going to leave
nothing to do with it.
Leaving Chastain in the dust here.
And not yet.
He's
big
ready
push
to get a big
for
push,
the moment.
yeah.
Now the outside. Does Harvick pull up? Does Austin Dillon pull up in front of him?
Harvick's now to the back of the 19. decides not to get out of line there. So here comes that outside line again with Chastain getting a great push from Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch is scored 10th.
Oh,
that's the last stage point.
Gets him a little bit loose there.
Why are these guys able to pull up on those cars? The reason is those cars up front, they get in a line, they start getting slack in the chain, if you will. And when they do that, they have to lift. They slow their overall speed down. Gives these guys an opportunity to draft up to them.
One car gets to the outside of the 18 of Kyle Busch down the back straightaway. Try to get down there and side draft just a little bit. Both him and Kurt can't side draft. See, the side draft doesn't work quite as much as it used to. Both of them couldn't side draft the car on the inside.
So you hear these guys lifting. Think you're going to see it on RP. There's the move. I was wondering if it's going to come from the 4. Didn't get up there in time. Will Martin Truex getting up in front of his teammate? I bet he will.
Final lap of the stage here. Kyle gets around the 4, back to the bottom.
Not enough momentum there. He's going to get to the back bumper. This 19, they're going to have, if they can get connected, they might be able to get up there and get in the mix of the Hendrick cars. Cherries to the bumper.
Jones,
there's the move.
Here comes the 19. Kyle pushing his teammate.
Broke those Hendrick cars apart. What does Hendrick do? Moves back down.
Big push is coming from behind.
He's going to be ready for it. Clear up. No, he's going to stay in line.
Truex now in the middle. He's going to get some help from Eric Jones here.
Too late. William Byron brings them to the line to win stage 2. Over Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson with Truex 4th and Bowman 5th. It's Byron's 3rd stage win of the season. Kurt Busch gets the final stage point for stage 2. Single file across with Larson peeking out. And Truex just beating Kyle Busch and Bowman to the line. William Byron in front, your stage 2 winner. End of stage 2. William Byron leads them onto pit road. Jamie?
William Byron wins the 3rd stage of the season. Led the most laps today, too. Said he's just a little bit light on his feet when his teammate, the 9, is pushing him. It's a 4-tire stop here. The 48 has come into the picture. He said the ride of his car, okay, not great, but they'll deal with it. 4 tires there, Vince.
19 of Martin Truex Jr. pitted from 4th, the top Toyota of the much of the day today. Just 4 tires and gas, Regan.
Kyle Larson happy with the balance on that car because nobody was pushing him. When somebody is pushing him too loose, and the 9 of Chase Elliott, not a word from him on the radio about his car.
Look at that Ram race off pit road. Eric Jones up 7 positions. Kevin Harvick up 8. Ryan Blaney up 10. And Bubba Wallace up 10. Also Austin Cindric. None of those took tires.
We say we dial up Willie B. How about you, Willie B? It's Boyer up in the booth. You got us.
We'll see what we do here, but I think we can stay.
Hey, William Byron, it's Boyer Jr. Mike Joy up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you, Boyer. How you doing?
Man, not as good as you. Fast hot rod. I've grown accustomed to seeing the Hendrick cars fast on qualifying day. Struggle with the handling on Sunday. Not the case today. How about your hot rod?
Yeah, the guys have worked super hard on trying to get us a little bit better, and you know, I feel like so far it's working really good. So just got to keep that going, keep the good mojo going, and try to keep ourselves at the front. Chase was a great pusher there, obviously, and was able to keep our line going. So thanks everybody on this team for a fast car. Hopefully keep it up here.
Absolutely. Seems like it's according to plan. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, man.
William Byron, your stage 2 winner, has finished top 4 in 2 of the last 3 Talladega races. So as we enter stage 3, who is going to take the money and run? And as they line up for the restart, It's interesting. We talked at the top of the day about the manufacturers and the differences between Talladega and Daytona. Well, among the top 12, 4 Chevys, 4 Fords, and 4 Toyotas. Parity raises its head.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Hendrick cars are controlling the front of the field. Can these other guys get organized and go up there and try to break them up? They're in the safest place.
Yeah.
And as so they're staying out of trouble. They're not getting eliminated. The guys that are sort of in the middle of the pack pushing hard, they're wrecking, getting eliminated. They're losing numbers, Clint.
Right, but I tend to agree with you. They're the first ones to beat every to the punch of the organization. They got themselves organized first. Don't you think for a second all the rest of those guys out there haven't followed suit or paying attention and trying to follow suit with that? I think you're going to see the Fords find each other, and these Toyotas are going to get that orchestrated as well. That's where the race is going to get interesting.
Larry Mack, how does this play out for you?
This is where the strategy could change. We've been talking about them running as far as they could, and that would allow them to run to lap 165, which is about 20-plus laps to go. But I think this is where maybe when the window opens here in about 20 to 25 laps, somewhere around lap 145, if you can get a group organized, you come and maybe you beat a caution and you make your stop under green and you get that track position. I think we'll see some varying strategy as far as maybe what might be the final stop, Mike.
Now, Larry, these cars like Eric Jones that took no tires here at the stage break, will they need tires sometime in stage 3?
I've seen absolutely nothing that says tires mean a whole lot of anything. Just keep that thing full of fuel and keep me up front.
Okay, Jones got 2 tires on the previous stop, so we'll see how this plays out.
I promise you, B.J. McLeod doesn't wish he came in and took those 2 tires. I mean, there's just so many different things that can happen when you're on pit road.
All right, to begin stage 3, here they come to the GEICO restart zone. Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Chevy, and Toyota ahead of 3 Fords and 2 Toyotas.
It's a pretty good push there on the outside. 12-car Blaney getting that 18 of Kyle Busch very clear. The Ford pushing that Toyota. Something we might see more of, Clint, as this race goes on.
Now Harvick linked up with Jones on the bottom.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ryan Blaney at all today. Now all of a sudden here he is. Great push on the restart. Again, how does this race just change all of a sudden? You break up those Hendrick cars, put them in the back. New boys up front. Blaney. This Eric Jones in a 43 is not going away, though. I'm telling you, that car is fast. It's been fast all day.
It won't be super easy for the Chevrolets and the Hendrick cars to get back together. That's what they want to do, but it's not that easy to do. When you got cars 2 by 2 by 2, can't just kind of figure that out and make it happen right away.
Yeah, it's not like you can just pull over. All right, let's get reestablished and get going. I mean, it takes time to orchestrate that. That's where that chess match comes in.
Blaney again,
Patience.
pushing really well. Gets that 18 car out there a little too far, though. Now he's going to have a huge run. Kyle's trying everything he could do to stay beside this 43 and wait for that help to come back. Here it is. Did a good job there.
Boom. Big shot.
They're all real tight on the inside. Haven't created any momentum yet, but here they go. Now they're rolling. Kyle Busch able to stay right there on that outside, keeping that inside line honest.
Here he comes.
Listening to the
radio there.
Yep. Listening to the 18 spotter.
The only manufacturers that have help right behind them is Ford with the 4 and the 6 on the inside there.
It's going to be interesting. He got way far out. You see Bubba Wallace pushing hard on Blaney. Both lines are connected. What happens when they get to Kyle? It looks like the bottom line's kind of faded a little bit, but that's something you got to be careful of. Don't you get yourself too far out. Gives these guys a big run and an opportunity to go to the lead, which is exactly what you see with Blaney.
These guys on the outside, Blaney and Bubba, they might as well be teammates, good friends. Going to help each other a little bit. Will the 12 side draft a little bit? He gets down there and tries to make it happen. 43 that fills that hole, though. Right back to the bumper of the 18 car. Now the 43 is going to try to push this 18 clear again. Bubba's trying to get to that back bumper of the 12. Once they get straight, he's going to lock on and push into turn 1.
But from a racer standpoint, what we're seeing right here is what I love about Super Speedway racing. You've got new guys up front. Those Hendrick cars aren't up front. They've been perfecting the way they do that, their craft, if you will. Now you've got the 18 and Blaney trying to figure that out. Running up front is drastically different than it is back in the pack.
Formed up better than the bottom.
You see those cars attached. Bubba Wallace, so that car is extremely fast. His teammates been able to do the same thing. See more of that, Dale, here than you did at Daytona.
Bubba seems to be able to get right back to the bumper of the 12 and give him great pushes all down the straightaways. It's the best we've seen this outside line performing in a while. Just shortly after a restart, they're going to work hard to try to stay up there. I think if the 12 and the 23 both can clear Kyle Busch, they'll both pull down in front of him. But until they can both clear, I think that the Blaney will stay committed on that outside line with Bubba.
Blaney is the 12th different driver to lead today.
Now do they pull down in front of this 18? There they go, right to the bottom.
Now what do you gain by doing that?
Well, the 2 car has so much damage. Look at how quickly he's going to drop back. They're trying everything they can to get around this 2 car now. He's just going to slow this outside line down with that drag he has on the right front.
Yeah, I really looked for Chase Elliott to kind of, spit him out right there, and didn't as he picked him up.
I don't know if
It's
Chase.
a great point, Dale.
Chase might not know just how bad the damage is.
If he didn't now, he does now, or didn't then, he does now.
Yeah.
I promise you, his spotter was thinking the same thing when he didn't make the move.
Look out.
Hey, we need to go. Get around this guy.
They're all over this too because he's so draggy, slowing them down so much.
And you can see the effect of it going straight to the back.
Everybody's quitting on this outside line.
And he's got that thing really yawed out as well. Get off.
Austin Cindric was caught up in that melee at lap 90, the one that took 3 cars out of the race.
Chase Elliott's going to have to make a move. You're going to have to get around him. There
he
it
goes.
is.
He found a spot right there in between his teammates. That was orchestrated.
Even better move, right?
Yeah.
Now all they need is Alex Bowman, who's 3rd in the outside lane.
Here comes Martin Truex. I'm not having any of it. I'm going.
Your middle. Middle. Just hold your line.
Big time speed difference there. I mean, look, it's 10 mile an hour difference. Huge mile an hour difference. But if you're Cindric, you don't want to be leading that line. You want to be the guy second in line. You can't do anything with a broken nose on the car, but you can certainly push very hard.
57 laps to go. Ryan Blaney, the 12th different leader today, out in front of last fall's winner here, Bubba Wallace. 54 laps to go at Talladega. Here's your aerial coverage provided by Goodyear for those that push the limits of possibility. Goodyear, more driven. Ryan Blaney's Ford leading 2 Toyotas. Eric Jones Chevrolet, then 2 Fords, another Toyota, and then 4 Camaros in a row, 8th through 11th.
The whole field single file now, and this is when it gets really interesting for those guys at the very back of this pack.
Yes.
They get dropped off because of the drag that this car has. We just saw J.J. Elley lose the draft. He's dropped off. Then the next guy starts to look in the mirror and panic a little bit. That's Noah Gragson. And then Austin Cindric with the damage to the right front. We know he's got a lot of drag from that. That could expel him from this line. And then the next guy, Alex Bowman. One of the ones that was controlling this field early in the race, or just a few laps ago, is in trouble too. So I think even if I'm Alex, I know I'm not the last guy right now, but I'm getting a little nervous.
Well, what is this phenomenon with this new next-gen car that the last car in the draft at Daytona and Talladega has trouble staying up there?
It's so much drag on the car, and as you run up on the field, if you do any type of lifting or lift too much, your car doesn't recover as quick. You see the gaps right here between these cars right here on the screen? They'll close that up, and then the next thing you know, you got 5 car lengths between you and the next car.
I think another part of that equation is the fact that this car, and this sounds weird, but it almost eats the air and forces it underneath the car. It doesn't just push a big hole in the air in front of it and have that huge draft coming off that car in front. I think that has a lot to do with it, that diffuser underneath of the car.
You can see right there at the very back of that pack a little bit of distance between each of those guys. They're starting to get a little nervous. Cindric's about to lose this draft. He's not careful. Him and Noah both are going to lose this draft.
Yeah, bad scenario for Noah Gragson. He knows that 2 of Cindric has that damage, but if he pulls out and goes too wide now, he's in trouble anyway. So hopefully they stack up in front, and if they ever do, man, I would make a move and try to get myself in front of the 2.
You know, guys, when you look at Ryan Blaney, our leader, let's go back to the stop at lap 107 next to the last caution. Jonathan Hassler, he took a minute and a half, and he worked on the splitter of that race car where it had that damage. He got the 4 tires, so that meant at the end of stage 2, they came in and dumped 4 seconds of fuel. So a lot of things led to him being up there leading this race.
Sure did. Teamwork, strategy, great call, and we all knew it. We need track position, and he's doing a whale of a job keeping him behind him, too.
And the second Ford in line, Kevin Harvick in 5th place. Regan.
Mike, we talked about at the start of the race how much Kevin Harvick was struggling, then found his way up to the front. I checked with the team, said, hey, how much stuff have you guys had to change today to make sure that car is good for Kevin? Said they have not changed a thing. They heard the same thing I did with him talking about how bad that car was. Said this is just like 2020 when Kevin won all those races. Start of the race, he'd say it was terrible. Next thing they knew, they were up front with it.
Riding on board with Brad Keselowski, who's right in the middle of this top 10. Last year, Brad had 2 top 2 finishes, a win in the 2nd place. Sitting in a situation right now where I think he can't point his way into the playoffs. This is a race where he comes to, he's got 6 wins here. Could break a tie with me and Jeff Gordon by getting a win today and also punching his ticket to go to the playoffs with that 6 car. I think he knows this is his chance besides the Daytona race later this year.
You know, it's funny you said that. I agree with you. We talked to him before this weekend leading into this, and he said, I'm going to need to find my teammate pretty fast. That teammate got damage on that deal, the 17. You know, obviously Chris Buescher is damaged, going to have to find another ally, another Ford. Who's going to push me? Who's going to stick with me at the end of this race?
.49 laps to go. When we come back, the pit window opens to be able to make it to the end on just 1 green flag stop.
I don't know.
Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Ford. Built for America.
46 laps to go in Talladega. Still 25 cars on the lead lap, led by Ryan Blaney. So let's take a look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
When's a good time to win a race? Right after your last win. Win number 60 came for Kyle Busch in this 18 last weekend. He may have backed into that one, but he's not going to this time. Kyle Busch is my man.
Well, Clint, I've got my eye on Eric Jones in that 43 car. Qualified 16th, but I love what his crew chief, Dave Ellens, is doing. He is separating himself from the leaders as far as strategy. He has only changed right sides twice, left sides none, and he quietly has 3 top 10s the last 4 Talladega races. What a great thing it would be to see the 43 car to go to victory lane.
That's called the ones to watch. So you can pick more than one guy, right? So,
what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm going with the 2 guys that won here last year, Brad Keselowski and Bubba Wallace. Not because they're good at this, but because they both need to win. I don't think they can point their way into the playoffs. This is a race they can win and punch that ticket.
Well, Junior, I didn't get the memo. I could pick more than one car for this. So the one I'm watching is going to be Kevin Harvick. I told you a few minutes ago the team said this feels a lot like 2020 to them when they won all those races. Kevin Harvick gets it done today for the first time since 2010 at Talladega.
How'd you guys leave me with the leader? Ryan Blaney has 2 Talladega wins in the last 5 races here, and he is still smarting over that finish in the Daytona 500, a race he coulda, woulda, maybe shoulda won. Ryan Blaney out front right now, and those are your Credit One Bank ones to watch. You know, you're a great commentator, but a lousy guest. How'd you get to pick 2?
Yeah, man.
I
thought he was just going to take the field or something.
I thought being the guest, you could pick 2.
All right, well done.
You guys are so nice.
Well done. Well, we're happy to have you here, and thanks to Brad Zager of Fox and Sam Flood for NBC for having that conversation that led to this visit, and glad to have you here today.
You know, Dale, you obviously brought light to those guys at the back. You know, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, and the next one was Bowman. Starting to see some separation with even a 5 car of Larson and throughout the field, not just those guys at the tippy back.
Yeah, I think that's when you get nervous if you are that guy at the very end of the pack, because if you see that gap, you know that gap's going to close, and that means they're going to pull away from you. Can you also be able to stay with it? As this 5 car moves forward, does he bring everybody, or does he drop a few off at the back of that line? You don't want to be one of those guys.
No, good question. And we did not steal Dale Jr. from NBC. He is still their lead analyst, and their coverage kicks off Sunday, June 26th at Nashville Superspeedway, all the way to the end of the season and crowning a champion.
You ever been borrowed before?
Well,
this the first?
Yeah.
I'm glad we borrowed you, bud. Always wanted to work with you.
I'm enjoying it, man. I've always wanted to. I've never worked with Clint before. I got to work with Mike in the Clash in 2017. It's an honor to work beside Mike. He's such a historian and just been around for so long. Seen the sport in so many different ways, but it's fun to work with you too, Clint. Having raced you all these years, and we partied together.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me, you know, having you in here is, you know, your background at this racetrack in particular. It takes a craft to figure this place out, and I cannot wait to hear your words of how that's going to orchestrate, where it's going to come from.
This 5 car, you see the little gap there he's got to the car in front of him. Let's listen to some of the radio. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. We hear the spotters when they're side by side, bumper to bumper. Let's see what the spotters are giving them now, if there's any information coming at all.
Well, we've had his radio open. Tyler Munn, the spotter, quiet.
Yeah.
Kyle knows what's ahead of him, what's behind him, and what the job is right now.
We got a couple of cars jump to the outside line, way back in the very back.
About 2 back off the 924-1, and then broke off about 10 back to the 34.
Kyle's been flying back and forth to Florida, racing a dirt late model, All-Tech Speedway. I think he had some suspension trouble last night, kept him out of the running, but chasing some money down there in Florida on the dirt.
Back here, you see Bowman on the outside, Haley in the 31. Got a few guys jumping up in front of him. Denny Hamlin's like, I'll take some of this.
I like it.
I like this action. And then more cars, yeah.
That was almost a crash. Chastain, for the second time today, waited till the last instant to jump to the outside and got away with it.
You're right, Mike, but you're not going to get away with those for long. That run comes a split second, I mean inch quicker, and that was a wreck.
That was too close for comfort.
Yeah, it's been a couple times this
race
for Ross, and so the 11's going to jump in front of the 10. He sees it. See how early he moved? It's not really a block at that point.
But
now
watch the next one.
Yeah.
Yes. Here they come. They're coming. I think I'm going.
He kind of hesitated. You could see he was thinking about it, but he did it so late. I think he needs to move a little bit quicker. So it's not such a shock to Denny, not so frustrating for the driver. You want Denny to push you, right?
Right.
Not be frustrated about the move you made.
Well, that's it. You don't make friends that way by jumping at the last instant, do you?
Well, the biggest thing is that you lose trust.
Right.
You know, and that's what you can't have. When you lose the trust in that guy, you get down to the closing laps when the money, when the pay window opens up, that trust factor goes out. They'll go around you and not with you.
We know Ross isn't interested in making buddies, but Denny's sending him for a ride right now. Denny is a very aggressive pusher. He's very, very good at these plate races, as we know. He's like, all right, you want some of this? I'll send you around this racetrack off the nose of that 11 car. He can make it pretty uncomfortable for you, but you're also going to be going places.
Might look for a 6 right here, riding along with Keselowski. Might look for him to make a move up there, getting up front. I need some track position.
One thing I do like about Denny in these plate races is when the cars get lined up either on the bottom like they are or at the top, he's one of the first ones to say, I ain't doing this.
He is, without a doubt, the most impatient one, because you're right. This single file, he's going down, dipping down low. Usually you have everybody up high. He'll dip down low, get him a couple of spots one at a time, and get to the front.
He just don't want to ride. He's ready to race. Whoa,
up front.
Denny,
Speaking of not riding.
I think all these guys jumped to the outside of that 12 car. It's pretty surprising seeing Bubba do that. Hung with his buddy for a long time there, but
I think that caught Blaney off guard, too.
I'm sure it did. It caught all of us off guard.
Here comes that 43 again.
To the inside of the 18. Bubba's going to jump down in front of Jones. Man, we got racy all of a sudden.
Less than a lap. Less than a half a lap. Goes from strung out to boom. Race for the lead.
"37 laps to go." Now, Larry, from your calculation, the pit window's been open for the last 11 laps, but no takers so far.
Yeah, it has been, Mike, but I get a feeling they're going to go about another 8 to 10 laps. Somewhere around 160 to 165 is where you can run as far as fuel. They're just running it as long as possible.
I don't know why the 18 car got out of line there. I don't know if we can get anything on his radio as to what happened, whether that was by design.
Last one here in the mid. Clear mid.
Or does he want or need to pit?
I don't know. He jumped out of that line there. Pit. I think that's what I heard on the radio right there. Not sure, but
it sounded like it.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, it may have been the fact that Ross Chastain spit him out.
I think he said a curse word, and we just got the back end of it.
Yeah, we had to do a little adjustment there and bleep that.
Yep.
So it's definitely the latter. Wasn't expecting the move by Ross Chastain to get underneath him and spit him out. Done that before. I've had that I think moment and comment, as a matter of fact, Dale.
He's trying to get that. He's still trying to work back toward the front. Let's watch this happen here. He just went up the track, or got
maybe
moved,
it got loose.
Moved up.
You know, the 11, just like you were saying, was pushing hard on the 1, pushed him right into the 18, and may have got loose getting into the corner at 3.
Kind of surprised to see some balance issues if that's true, man. Blaney wiggling a little bit there behind the 43. Pushes that 43 down into turn 1.
3 Fords lined up there behind Jones Chevrolet.
Yeah, if I'm anybody like Jones right now, I want a Ford behind me. I think that they are the most comfortable car pushing you, right? If you're going to get pushed, what kind of car do you want pushing you, Clint?
One that I could trust. One that does a good job, Dale. But, you know, stay on that for a second. In Daytona, we kept seeing guys get in. Keselowski, let's just use him. Get into the guy in front of him and then turn him around. Really light on their feet. The car's getting pushed. Different scenario here at Talladega. You think it's the fact that they've learned a little bit with their setups, got these guys a little bit more grip in their cars, or do you think it's just the fact that Talladega's got more real estate?
That's a good point about the racetrack being a little bit different, a little more room. But I do think that they learned a ton. Everyone learned a lot about getting the cars more comfortable. The drivers said, hey, I can't do anything. This thing's out of control. I can't take pushes. I'm getting moved around on the nose of these cars. As they're pushing me, I'm about to wreck. You've got to fix that, and everybody went to work on it.
For sure.
And give these drivers credit because they had no practice here and no opportunity to try out those theories until the green flag waved. 33 to go. We'll go Fox side by side.
The 6 is going to speed again.
30 laps to go. Here come a herd of Mustangs to pit road. Jamie.
Brad Keselowski was the best Ford in that group, and he wanted to come in. He said one of the hood pins is loose, and it was bothering him. It's right above that grill, but since this isn't a caution, they said just leave it. Let's take tires and fuel. Regan.
Ryan Blaney couldn't go anywhere earlier. They fixed that damage on the nose, though, and got him track position. He has been really happy with that car since. 2 tires.
Hold your breath time now for those Ford drivers who stopped, hoping the Chevys and Toyotas will also have to pit under green.
I swear I was worried about Brad sliding on in there or speeding into pit road again.
Pit this time, pit this time. 3.
Oh, the 6 did get busted on entry.
Again. Too fast entering.
11 was pushing at the envelope right there as well.
Jamie?
And the 23 of Bubba Wallace gets called into pit road, doing what he typically does in these super speedway races, continues to lead laps, running top 2 the last 3 super speedway races. Balance has been pretty good on this 23 car. Right sides of fuel, Regan.
Good speed all day long for Eric Jones and good strategy by crew chief Dave Ellens. 2 right side tires, and that's it for him. Kyle Larson, he has been so quiet all day long. Happy with that race car.
That's about 10 cars all coming off pit road in a bunch. They'll be able to line up and form up a draft.
This part of the race with pitting under green is such a stressful situation for the drivers. You want to get on pit road and get off pit road with all the drafting help.
All right, Corey LaJoie is going to bring this group to pit road, including the Toyotas. Jamie.
Kurt Busch has done a lot in his career, but winning here is one thing he's never done. 0 for 42. His car been pretty decent today, was working up front with his teammate for quite a while. They take off the windshield there for clean vision. No tires for the 45 ins.
They told Martin Truex Jr. don't slide him because we're not putting tires on, gas only for Truex, Regan.
Kyle Busch a little bit bouncy with that race car earlier on in the race, but no comments about that lately. 2 right sides is all for him.
Right sides for Busch and for our pole sitter, Jones. And the Toyota. Oh! And Busch and Jones collide, leaving pit road. Jones is in the wall.
Christopher Bell.
Excuse me, Christopher Bell. I'm sorry.
But nonetheless, it was off a teammate, and it's so important. You want to get in line and trying to. When Kyle Busch got beside him, they got into it.
So the 20 comes off pit road, and Kyle's trying to go to the inside of the 62 right here. Little contact, spins the 20.
Didn't take much, did it, guys?
Not at all. And we know those cars are very delicate. Those toe links can get bent pretty easy on both the front and the back. We got a caution on the racetrack.
No, we don't. Still under green. Got it.
Christopher Bell was able to pull away.
Absolutely.
And we stay green.
That's huge. A lot of guys needed that. Yep. A lot of guys needed that caution. Brad Keselowski, you know, that would have been big. A big help. Didn't get it.
I just worry about that 18 car. Did he suffer any damage from that contact? Did knock the toe out on that left rear? That independent rear suspension, not quite as durable.
So here's your lead pack, and it's Denny Hamlin leading Kyle Larson, Eric Jones, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Justin Haley. And that pack is still trying to form up. The first 7 or 8 are single file. Still a bunch of double file there as they work for position.
And as they go into turn 3, Christopher Bell coming off of turn 2. So he did get righted, did get going, still on the lead lap.
He's going to need a caution to get back in this race.
That's right. You'd have to think that he might get it once things start to get a little busy here late in this race, and he won't be in that pack to be caught up in it. So still a good shot for him today to get a great result.
And he and Kyle Busch both have to hope that they have no damage from that contact. In the lead pack, there's an 8-car breakaway. The rest of that pack have now formed up single file, trying to run them down.
The other thing I see in that pack, that 8-car pack, is you don't see any, you know, organized orchestration right there with the manufacturers or within an organization. Here you see Keselowski serving his penalty pass through.
Our Castrol cam showing you Keselowski coming down at pit road speed. 2 penalties today, none so far this season until today.
Something tells me something's going on there. Maybe some weight transfer, getting on the splitter, locking those front tires up, Dale.
Doesn't look like he can get the car slowed down when he charges into pit road. Kyle Busch has had a few laps under his belt here. For all you Kyle Busch fans, running in 19th right now in this lead pack. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the rear suspension of that car or even with that contact. There you see Kyle right behind this 2 car. Austin Cindric.
This race is really jumbled up. Again, teammates can't find one another. Manufacturers are all over the place.
So now, scrambled eggs, with, as you say, with 24 laps to go. Making a nice omelet here, but when do you want to start trying to find your teammates?
Well, I think that the moves are going to come from in the middle or the back of this pack. You got Hamlin up front with his buddy Larson. I think they're pretty content where they're at. So is Eric Jones. He knows he's not going to get any help from Byron. Byron's going to go with Larson wherever he goes. So all the work or anything going on is going to start to happen in the middle or the back of the pack, Clint.
Well, those guys have the track position that everybody in the back needs. They're trying to get up there, having to do something. Let's get out of line. Let's do something. Find our allies. We got to get that track position them boys have. Got to get it away from them. But to answer another part of your question, I think that equation has changed over the years. I used to have it down packed. Back in the RCR days. 50 to go. If I was back there riding and had a different approach on the day, 50 to go, I wanted to start going, getting myself in position. Even that last pit stop. When you come off that last pit stop, whether it was 2 tires, some sort of strategy, if I didn't have it on the racetrack, help me. I need something to get me up front.
Yeah, I think looking in the middle of the pack, Bubba Wallace is probably a good choice as far as cars to pull out, make a move.
But Bubba has no friends with him, that is no Toyotas. You see the makes looking down the running order, and there's Bubba in 11th, and there's not a Toyota nearby to help.
I don't think
cars, I think cars back there that are going for it that you can count on. That 48 at Alex Bowman, he's riding around clear at the back of this pack. Somebody bowls out and makes a move, you can count on him going with you. 10 car right in front of him, same boat.
22 laps to go. We'll take our final side-by-side break and then bring you home at Talladega with Denny Hamlin leading. .19 laps to go as Denny Hamlin takes them around. Brad Keselowski, you had to make a penalty pass through.
Up front, we've got a battle for the lead. The 5 car gets a push and goes right around the 11. Oh, Denny Hamlin, he's going right to the back. Where's his help? Denny's looking in the mirror. The 45, Kurt Busch is going to lift and let the 11 Denny Hamlin back in line. That was interesting. Those lap cars always do sort of shuffle things up a little bit.
Always, you get that pole.
Show you that from our aerial coverage.
Look at the run he had. Really didn't have a choice.
I'm proud of Kyle Larson for taking that run.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times he probably just set right there in a great position with 18 laps to go, but he took an opportunity. Jamie.
Well, the 45 at Kurt Busch, they had just asked him right before that, do you remember the magic number to make the move for the teammates? So he said 10-4. Now on the flip side, his teammate, the 23 of Bubba Wallace, they just told him on the radio, Don't save anymore. You are good to go. Go full fuel, and when it's time to make noise, you make some noise. Bubba's trying to win for the second time in his career.
Well, the Toyotas were all together until just now.
Yeah,
Bubba
got
Wallace
stalled
kicked
out.
to the outside.
Well, it got 3 wide. Got stalled out in the middle of a 3 wide scenario. But go back to Larson. You know, having confidence, finding confidence in the super speedway is tough. You've got to learn that, and it only comes with confidence, making a move and it be the right move. Hats off for him and taking that move. He always gets beat up on these. Not even a top 5 ever on a super speedway. A move like that, that'll get you on, Dale.
That's right. You got 5 Chevrolets right there in the top 5, so he's got a lot of help, a lot of stability and dependability behind him as he takes us down with 16 to go. So this is a tough situation for Jones. He knows that if he pulls out a line, the 24 is going with the 5. So Jones is sort of stuck. So now you got the top 3 stuck in that position. But don't know that we can depend on Chastain to be that loyal. He may get that run and move out. What do you got on the one, Vince?
Well, he's certainly in a good position, and they like the position he's in right there with the rest of the Chevrolets. He may not have made any friends today with others, but that group that he is with, he almost will have to have a friend to go along and go toward the front. But with the Chevys up in front of him, it shouldn't be hard to find.
Chevrolet positions 1 through 5, all the way back to the 31 of Justin Haley.
I've changed my mind on where the run's going to come from. You're right. Chevrolets 1 through 5. Right after that, Hamlin, Kurt Busch, and Truex. 3 Toyotas in a row. I feel like the run's going to come from them. Denny will get up on the wheel, make an aggressive move, and I think that's where it's going to happen.
Yeah, he knows that if he pulls that line to take that outside line or wherever he goes, Kurt's got to go with him. Kurt
he owns it.
He signs Kurt's check, so we know Kurt's going to go with him.
Then a teammate behind him.
Yep. They have to make that commitment. That's their only opportunity to try to win this race.
Yes, sir.
And for Eric Jones, he needs Chastain or Haley to pull out to have somebody to go with to beat the Hendrick car.
I'm going to tell you,
He can't do it alone.
Eric Jones, sometimes being the lone wolf, Dale, is a good thing. You can know that nobody's going to go with you, so you make them go with you. You put yourself in a scenario, put that guy behind you in a scenario where he has no choice. Now, this formulating on the outside, that'll shake things up.
They're trying to figure out something back here on this outside line. These guys are getting together and trying to get something going, but they just can't create any momentum. There's a lot of contact, a lot of pushing, but they're going nowhere. Kyle Busch trying to push the 10 of Eric Almirola down the back straightaway. Back up front, still single file.
See that momentum walking off into the set on the outside. 18 really pushing hard on Almirola.
Oh,
here
look
comes
here.
the 12 and the 9.
They jump in front of Eric Almirola. Chase Elliott.
That 12 was pushing hard earlier in the race.
Yeah,
Look at the momentum.
There's energy here.
Now that's tandem.
And only the Fords can really do that.
Now Chase Elliott needs to back up to him. Will he try? Because here comes another Ford pushing hard.
Now,
Who else is going to join that group? Are they going to pull up and make the block?
Hamlin had room to pull out in front of those two, but did not. Earlier on the radio, Hamlin said, this car is dead in the draft. You pull out to get a run and it stops.
You've seen that Chastain make a lot of bold moves, a lot of blocks.
I don't know, too soon. Here's Eric Jones' radio.
Gonna make that decision, and you got the 131 leather behind us with the 45 and then. So I got a feeling the 1 will roll with us, the 31 will roll with us.
The 5 is good with pushes down the backstretch. Don't do it past the bump on the backstretch.
That 12 of Blaney can get right to the back of that 9, and he can push him hard. These guys are coming on the outside. Will anyone jump up in front of Chase Elliott? Look there, Byron does it. Byron says, I'm coming up here to get some of this action. The 43, the 5, all those guys jumping the outside line. Now Chastain's coming by on the inside.
Right now, your best friends are where you find them. Either right off your front bumper or filling up your mirror.
Well, calculated moves now. You pull up and make a block on somebody, you need to be making sure that that's that somebody that you want behind you or in front of you.
And one wrong move and you'll be at the back of this pack.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Ugh.
Tough decision. It's a decision that a lot of times you need some help making.
That's right.
That spotter that's been watching this, that eye in the sky, he can help you make that decision.
Right there in front of the pack there, you see the 20 car, Christopher Bell. They'll be coming up to lap him. You know that's going to shuffle things around, create some opportunities and some challenges for this lead group.
Well, naturally that inside line is going to draft up to him, and then now they're forced to make a move.
Oh,
changes that.
43 gets a little loose there.
Still loose.
Oh,
stacking them up.
They're having trouble getting on that outside
Still
line.
loose.
Almost wrecked.
He hung on there, and the lap car does not present an opportunity to shuffle things.
The Chevys just can't push as hard as the Fords. The noses just don't really match up really well. When it comes down to the end of this race, you got to be able to get aggressive pushing.
Now, second and third, Chastain and Haley were teammates in the Xfinity Series at Kaulig Racing and had a lot of success together on super speedways. They're no longer teammates, but they know each other's playbook.
If you're Kyle Larson, Dale, what do? Nobody's done this better. Good at making those decisions. Do you hang with Chastain, stay on the bottom, and the next time that run comes, you go up and block?
You just need to control the lead. Get in front of the line that's moving. Right now, there's great, tight organization on the bottom. Do not get up in front. Do not give up that bottom right now. That outside's fading backwards. Continue to control this inside line.
All right, Junior, if you're not leading this race, whose car would you want to be in right now?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think running second.
I was going to say, that's an easy one. If he ain't leading, I want to be the next one.
Yeah, I think I'd be want to run second. Haley is an interesting choice here.
Yes.
Because he's won a lot of races on the super speedways in the Xfinity Series, does have a win in Daytona in the Cup Series, and he's a sort of a must-win to be able to punch his ticket to the playoffs. And he sits right there in this position. This is his role. This is what he does every time we race in the Xfinity Series. He's like a top fiver until the very end, and poof, he gets up there and he wins the race somehow.
That's what's so exciting about this race. So here comes a big push on the outside, 24 into the 43. That Eric Jones is in the same exact conversation that you just said with Justin Haley. He needs a win. It has to happen at one of these super speedways more than likely, and he'll be going for it.
Oh, a little lift on this inside. That's good for the outside. They're going to try to get a run down this back straightaway. Byron in the back of that 43 pushing hard as he can.
That's that slack in the chain, as I call it. As soon as they start to get some slack in the chain, you got to check up, lose your overall momentum, and here comes the outside, a big push.
Seven to go when they come to the line. Does Eric Jones have enough and have enough help to get back to the front?
Yes. Does Chastain make a block? I don't think so. I think he stays in it, but if you're the 5, do not open that door to the inside.
That bottom line is so tight. Look at this one car pushing that 5 down into turn 1.
Pushing you hard here.
Look at the gap. Now watch the 11 push Haley into them.
3 Toyotas lined up right behind the 3 Chevrolets on the front inside lane.
That 43 car is so impressive. Seems like they're very comfortable doing it, and Dale, there's bumps. Just before you get into 3, it's where they used to pull out and over the track, all the motorhomes into the infield, going to the boulevard, going to the party. There's actually kind of ruts in the track, and those guys don't like being tandem, getting over that. Makes the car light, makes it loose.
Petty GMS Racing, Eric Almirola, the last winner.
I don't know if I want to be in that one, Dale.
Yeah.
Whoo, she's loose.
Every time that 24 gets in the back of that 43 wiggles, I am nervous for those guys because the pushes are going to continue to get more and more aggressive. Down this back straightaway, they got good organization. Off into turn 3. What does Eric Jones do, though, if he gets clear of this 5?
I agree. Does he move down? I think I would think about it.
Yeah, I would too. I'd almost have to try to control that line.
How about the 43 car? Stuck on 199 wins. If that kid can get that 43 in victory lane for the 200, that'd be a big day. Big.
Here they come. He's clear. He's going to be clear for a moment.
He can get down if he wants it.
Oh, does he want it? What do you do?
Go with the momentum. Go with the momentum.
Go to the bottom here.
Now block.
Get in front of
Too late.
Oh!
Back to the bumper.
That was too late. Man, he wanted to, but it was too late.
Now what's Kyle Larson do? Same thing. Block that momentum, stay on the bottom.
Big push from the 43. Big push from the 24 down the back straightaway.
I think the outside line prevails here. Longer, more cars in the line.
True.
They're both broke up.
Now look at the separation though, back to the 9
something
car.
happened behind the 9.
No, not great.
Watch this momentum.
9 and the 12 coming
And
hard.
the 9 comes hard.
Will they jump out? Not here.
Oh, I just got a feeling somebody's getting turned around here.
They all have the same feeling. Woo. Can't lift now. Got to go for it. Money's on the line.
4 laps to go.
Nobody can push harder than that 24 car.
Side by side, all the way back to the pack here.
Here comes your push.
Both lines pushing. All right, the inside's organized. It's going to clear this 5 car. Down into turn 3. Outside's going to try to regroup, rebound.
The top will start surging here. Top will come.
Goodness gracious. That 43 looks so uncomfortable.
Come help you.
Big run down the front straightaway. Kurt Busch to the middle, 3 wide.
That'll break things up. He's got help from the Toyotas.
Denny in trouble, falling back. That's going to bust up the whole pack.
Kurt Busch almost gets turned around.
Hamlin out of fuel, we hear.
3 wide, Bob. Take the 2 wide. 19, you got
43 to the lead.
At least that's what it felt like for Hamlin. Complaining about fuel pressure.
Eric Jones now out front of the 5, down the back straightaway.
Look at the 10 and the 24 together. 24's going to move down.
Larson had a run.
Go with him.
Larson had a run. He committed to the back of this 43 car, coming to 2 to go.
Chase Elliott trying to get the outside together, but they are all jumbled up. The inside lane prevails right now.
There goes Denny. Must be out of gas.
Coming to 2 to go.
Big time blocks coming, Dale.
No outside line, so what do these guys do? The runs won't be as strong. They'll be easier to block. But how do you form it? Who forms it? Lap car.
Using a lap car as a pig, creating that momentum.
Far out. Quarter off with the
No runs from anybody just yet.
6 Chevys, 2 Toyotas, and then back to Almirola's Ford in 9th.
Bumper.
Busch and Truex, can they find each other, those 2 Toyotas, to work against these 4 Chevrolets?
Still seems like it's going to be settled right here amongst these front 5 or 6.
I agree, but anybody breaks that plane, anybody moves too wide, it can give everybody behind them an opportunity to get on them.
Not too far out.
White flag, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
You see the flaps moving on the 1. He's pushing hard.
Justin Haley gets out of line here. Austin
Big
Dillon
time
goes by.
push. Is it too early to go off at 2, Dale?
Quarterback.
Too soon. Remember what
And
the
they're
start-finish
wanting to.
line is, way down.
That's
toward
right.
Turn 1 and 2.
Byron spit out to the outside.
29 times this race has been decided by a last lap pass.
Pushing you.
Oh,
get
Kurt
out
to
too
the
far.
outside. That's going to slow down this 1.
Now watch
Truex.
the momentum with the 1 car.
Too far out. 3 back.
Kyle Busch.
He's out of long ways. Here comes a run with the 5.
Kyle Larson, big push. Does he go to the outside?
Gonna have to. Here he goes.
And he's in the wall.
Opens the door up for the 1 of
Here
Ross
comes
Chastain.
Jones. And on the outside, Kyle Larson added. Oh my
Chastain.
gosh!
How about you?
Ross Chastain. Ross is the
Winner
boss
chicken dinner,
of
baby.
Talladega.
Ross just kept it straight. Everyone else went everywhere.
Well, he was able to. The 5 making that move to the outside, getting a big block by Eric Jones. Got him doubled up on the outside. How about this? Trackhouse Racing in victory lane again this season. They were 1 corner away from being 2 in a row.
It's a Cinderella story for Trackhouse, the year they're having.
Wow.
Holy cow! Yeah!
Bubba Wallace coming out of his car.
Yes!
We give Ross a hard time for all the moves he makes, but man, when it come down to it, he made the right ones at the end.
Second win in the last 5 races. for Ross Chastain. Kurt Busch in the tri-oval, shot up into the wall. Bubba Wallace, cars spinning, crashing everywhere. Let's go all the way back to 3 laps to go and show you Kurt Busch shuffling things around here. Watch the 45, the black car, center of your screen. Took everybody 3 wide.
Yeah, he kind of moves up.
And a huge save off the bumper of Martin Truex. And then look how it jumbles everything up.
But then those 2 Toyotas were able to get together. But what could they do? Here's the last lap. Eric Jones with a chance.
But see, Kurt Busch pulled the 1 car off of the 5. That gave opportunity for the 3 car to get on the 1. Here comes a huge push to the 5 of Larson. What's he do with it? He goes for it, gets a massive block, as you knew you would. Almost turns Kurt Busch and everybody else. Open the door up for Ross Chastain to win the race.
And
Talladega, baby.
Eric Jones went up to block, made the right move, but ended up 6th.
Great car, great job by him. Just wasn't his day. Had to make the right. You knew the run was coming. You heard his spotter tell him, don't get too far out. Well, it's too late now.
Yeah.
I got to go.
4 wide at the finish. Austin Dillon finishes 2nd. That's the 3 car finishing 2nd 2 days in a row here. Jeffrey Earnhardt and Austin Dillon.
Holy cow! We didn't do anything. We just stayed down there.
I told you, it's like he just held it straight. He didn't do nothing. All those other guys were all over the place, and he comes sailing through.
He had a lot to do with it, though. The push that he gave the 5 made the 5 make that move, and it just opened the C's up for him. Split the C's.
Yeah.
Everything opened up right to victory lane.
He's just sitting there going, well, I can't believe this.
I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. That's the way it works here at Talladega sometimes. You just kind of sit there and don't do anything wrong, and everything ends up okay.
Larson finally got him a top 5. The 43 car not making the top 5. That kid did a great job. Eric Jones, strong day for all of them at the 43 camp.
Chevrolet, 5 of the top 7 spots. Toyota's 3rd and 5th, Kyle Busch and Truex. The first Ford turns out to be Michael McDowell in 8th with Harvick 10th.
Unbelievable what Trackhouse has done this year. Just unbelievable. I never would have thought that they would have came into the sport and had this type of success.
Makes you want to try it out, Dave, huh?
Yeah. They make it look pretty easy.
Let's count how many laps Ross Chastain led today. 1.
The only one that counts.
Such a fun racetrack to win at. You work so hard mentally and emotionally all race long.
For that opportunity right there that we saw off of turn 4.
They got him as watermelon, as tradition.
He is an 8th generation watermelon farmer in Florida when he's not driving the race car.
Step in the hole. Be a terrible joke if he threw that in the hole into the car. Great job.
Pitbull will be proud of that show.
Is proud. Unbelievable.
And Regan Smith is right there.
Ross Chastain with his patented watermelon celebration. Ross, you were, as he enjoys a little bit of that watermelon right now, Ross, you were a lap down at one point in this race. Talk me through the crazy last lap. You stayed on the bottom. Things just opened up for you, and it worked out perfect for your 2nd career win.
Holy cow. I'm always the one going to the top too early and making the mistake. And there at the end, it was like 8 to go, and I was like, I'm not going up there again. I did that a couple times today. And I was like, I'll just ride in the bottom. If it works, like, I'm not going to lose the race for us. I'll just let them. And this Moose fraternity, almost 1 million Moose members across the world and the country. I know there's some out here at Talladega to win with the Moose on board. They've been with me for a few years now and supported me everywhere I've went. And I have no idea. They kept going up, and they just kept moving out of the way.
You come to Trackhouse Racing this season. Could you ever imagine this amount of success this early on in your tenure here?
No, Regan, are you kidding me? You know me. I've wrecked myself so many times and gotten into it with guys. I probably got watermelon seeds. Well, this is a true seedless. Am I good? Would you tell me this time?
I would definitely tell you this time.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Marks and what he laid out for us was ambitious, and I had no idea, what to expect other than I knew I had my group from last year. I had Advent Health, the Moose, now with Worldwide Express, and Jockey coming on board. We've got partners. They're believing in us. We started the year with a lot of races open. We're almost full now, and it's because of the vision of Justin Marks. Pitbull, Armando, we won, dude!
That's awesome.
Well, and on the other side of that celebration is Eric Jones. Such a strong run today. Where did it go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, just the last lap, right? I mean, it's typical here. And been close here so many times in this race and in the fall race, but U.S. Air Force Chevy had good speed and just felt good to be up front. But, coming there that last lap, we were single file. I felt pretty good about it, but they kind of doubled up behind us, and that top lane was getting some momentum. Looking back, I wish I would have stayed on the bottom and let the one push me. I didn't realize they were coming with that much speed. But you try to defend on the 5. You're too far ahead already right here. And obviously a defense on the 5 kind of gives the door to the 1. So it is what it is. You're trying to just win the race. You can only see so much is going on from the seat. And you're trying to make the best decision you can in the last, 1,500 feet. But happy to run up front, lead laps. Just really would love to get the 43 in victory lane. I thought today might be the day. All day long we were fast and had speed, and especially being up front there at the end, the last 10, I knew we had a shot, but just couldn't quite close it out.
6th place doesn't tell the story for Eric Jones, Jamie.
And Kyle Larson brings it home. 4th, led 32 laps today, and you said when you got out of the car, I made a mistake. What would you have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I did a pretty near perfect job for me at a super speedway until the last lap there. I should have I think just kind of faked going high and then went back low. I had that run, and Ross helped me with that run. And it kind of baited me into going to the outside. So just a little inexperience probably there, but really proud of my team. We did a great job executing all race long. The car was great. I felt like we could push people great. I felt like we could receive pushes well. So, like I said, really proud of them. Honestly, the first time I've had a legit shot at winning a plate race in the Cup Series. So, happy about that. But when you are that close, and I was in the exact position I wanted to be in, I didn't want to be leading. So I feel like I did a good job with patience and stuff. Just made one small mistake there and cost me win.
First ever top 5 at Talladega for Kyle Larson. Mike?
Larson comes home 4th. Ross Chastain celebrating with fans as he collects the checkered flag. We've got more to unpack from a wild finish at Talladega. Ross Chastain heads off to Ruoff Mortgage victory lane at Talladega. 2nd victory of the season, joining William Byron in that category. And 2nd win for Team Trackhouse. A perplexing finish at Talladega. Ross Chastain doesn't make a move and wins the race.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need to do is let everybody make all the mistakes around you. But one of the big things that I saw today is just the turnaround in the Chevrolets.
Yes.
In Daytona, the Fords won. The Toyotas looked great at the start of the Daytona 500, but the Chevys were nowhere. They were MIA and came here, and they didn't qualify that well. We wondered what was going on. Well, it seems like they really went to work to find out how to make their cars race better at Talladega and Daytona.
Totally agree with you. The Fords were dominant in Daytona. They're the ones that everybody was chasing. What'd they do? They went to work, tried to figure out how they could draft, how they could handle better. Saw a lot more stability all the way through the field. Didn't see that big one that we had. That, caution onto that restart really kind of hindered that a little bit, some of that movement. But it all still come back to just good old super speedway racing. Big time moves, big time momentum, and big time blocks.
Yep, track position, it was key. He didn't have the lead, but he had the checkered flag. Ross Chastain wins in Talladega. We're going to pack up and head to Dover. Dale Jr., thanks for joining us. You'll have the Charlotte studio on the other side.